All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome. If you are new here, thank you guys so much for joining me today and waiting patiently, as always, for the intro to finish up. Irfan, what's going on, man? I'm doing well. Corey, you're saying maybe Metal Gear Solid Delta is a remake, but it's still my favorite MGS. No, I hear that, dude. I hear that. I'm really eager to wrap up the platinum for Death Stranding. I said yesterday that I would have it done in 24 hours. Turns out I'm going to need a little bit longer, maybe another 24-hour extension, potentially. But it's about to wrap up. And yeah, dude, then I'm going to be all in on Metal Gear Solid Delta. Really want to dig into that. I've been playing it a little bit, but haven't been able to really just sink into it yet. And Corey, the legend, Landiga comes in and he does what he does best. He kicks it off. We know why he does it. He does it for boss. He drops 5 membership gifts for you
I'm
guys.
no hero. Never was.
Boss
Never will
immediately
be.
recognizes it. Butcher, I'm feeling all right, man. I feel like I got okay sleep last night. I don't know. Like, it was just one of those nights where I couldn't fall asleep as easily. But once I fell asleep, I think the quality of it was really good. So, I mean, I woke up feeling well rested. I feel like that's all that matters, right? 5 more in the name of boss. Yeah, Corey, thank you for that, buddy. You know I appreciate everything you do for the channel. Let me add that to the goal. And yeah, so once again, thank you guys for watching. I also want to thank everybody who watches the streams later on. I know not everybody can catch them live. So if you're taking time out of your day at any point to watch the streams, thank you so much for that. If you want to help support the channel directly, like Corey continues to do, you can become a channel member, gain access to some exclusive perks. We are going to be doing a members lounge after today's stream. So if you are a member, please look forward to that. If you're not a member, consider joining. You can also gift memberships. We're striving for 25. If we hit 25, we will feed the beast, give boss some treats. And then if we end up hitting 50, we'll do some reps at the end of the stream. You can also drop a super chat or a direct donation. These are all ways in which you can help support the channel, the content, and the community. We're completely fan funded. I can only do this because you guys make it possible. So a big thank you to everybody who supports. But if the only thing you can do is hit that like button, then be sure to do that. Hit the like button. We're sitting at 28 likes. I think we could easily bump that up to 40, maybe 50. Definitely helps out the streams. We have a few different topics that we're going to be going over today. Sony surprisingly announced a state of play, and I know that this is not the state of play or the PlayStation event that a lot of people have been hoping for, but nonetheless, they have announced a state of play for 007 First Light, and it's happening on September 3rd. So not a long wait. I'll stream it because I was going to be streaming at the time they're hosting it anyway. But I think that calls into question, is this the only show that Sony's going to be doing this month? Is this it? Is this it? I'm going to say no. I don't think it is. But we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about 007 First Light. It's not a game that I'm super excited for. I'm not the biggest James Bond fan. I don't have any problems with James Bond. I just never really got too deep into James Bond, surprisingly. But the game does look promising, and people seem to be very interested in this title and seeing the state of play. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Neo. That's what I'm thinking too, buddy. So we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about Kojima Productions and how they just announced a 10th anniversary celebration event. And Kojima makes it known, as I get a cat hair on my tongue, Kojima has made it known that there, of course, will be celebrity appearances, but he's saying that he's going to give us a glimpse at some of his upcoming projects. And this is very exciting for multiple reasons. We know that OD is still in development, and it's been a long time since we've heard anything about that title. And I'm confident that's a game that is going to make its way to PlayStation. So really want to see that, but even more than that, Fizzant. We know that Fizzant was confirmed in January of last year, a new partnership between PlayStation Studios and Kojima Productions. He's going back to his stealth roots, tactical espionage action, blending cinema and gameplay. And, it's clearly many years away, but he says titles. So that's the thing. He's saying updates on titles. So we'll talk about that. I'll give you all the details. And then we also have some not so good news for Fairgames once again, because Fairgames, not that long ago in May, one of the founders, the biggest founder and the biggest name attached to Fairgames, Jade Raymond, ended up departing the studio after playtests were conducted and the feedback was seemingly not good. So now we're hearing that the director of the game has also departed the studio. And I'm not going to lie, it's looking real bad, but maybe not surprising. So we'll talk about that. We also are going to go over Lost Soul Aside because the reviews for this game are out, and unfortunately, that's not looking too good either. Hell is Us. This is a game that I know many people have been looking forward to. The reviews for that are out, and we are seemingly getting confirmation that Injustice 3 is in development, and it's happening. And it's crazy because when I was making my video this morning, I went to go get some footage for Injustice 2, and I think it was the gameplay trailer for it, and I forgot how long ago this game came out. It was like quite a long time ago. Um, but yeah, so we have quite a bit to talk about. Um, and isn't today the 10th? Yeah, today's the 10th anniversary for Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. So shout out to that game, man. What an incredible game. I remember my hype level for MGS 5 was through the roof. And it's such a shame that that game couldn't get its chapter 3, you know? It's a shame, but still an incredible game nonetheless. Yeah, Sean Mitchell. So let's begin with the state of play over on the PlayStation blog. Sony posts State of Play presents 007 First Light gameplay deep dive on September 3rd. Tune in for over 30 minutes of 00 agent action with IO Interactive. It says prepare for a deep dive on 007 First Light. During this special state of play, the development team at IO Interactive declassifies new gameplay on James Bond's upcoming espionage action adventure thrill ride. And so, for those who tune into my streams, um, it's going to be happening on September 3rd for me at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So, it'll be about 2 hours into my regular stream that the state of play will occur. Says back at June's State of Play, we unveiled the game's reveal trailer, offering you the first look at IO Interactive's unique take on Bond. In this upcoming State of Play, tune in for over 30 minutes of gameplay featuring a playthrough of Bond's first mission as an MI6 recruit. The action includes everything from high-speed car chases to on-foot stealth sequences and shootouts. Stay tuned after the playthrough for insights from IO Interactive on the intense espionage gameplay. We can't wait to show you what the team has been cooking up on September 3rd. So this is the second major third-party focused state of play that Sony is doing this year. The first one they did back in, I think it was actually the literal last day of May. It was for Borderlands 4. And I wasn't interested in that. I'm not a Borderlands player, and I ended up skipping that one. And I see that Irfan is asking if I'm going to react to this or stream it. And yeah, I will, because I mean, this game does look interesting to me. I remember when they revealed it, there was a lot of hype for it, and yeah, what I've seen, it looks somewhat promising. Lady Gamer, let me see what you're posting here. Oh, that's cool. Housemark, join our brand director for a tour of the new Housemark office spaces. Ah, so I see Housemark has updated and upgraded their studio. Good stuff, man. Yeah, speaking of Housemark, so, that's the question that people have. We're getting the state of play announced for 007. What about people who aren't interested in 007? What about people who are hoping for just either a regular state of play or, dare I say, even a PlayStation showcase? Is that something that we can still expect? Is that something that we should expect in September? Well, it's worth noting that Jeff Grubb, who has been incredibly reliable, specifically when it comes to PlayStation events, said that Sony is doing some type of event, whether it be a PlayStation showcase or a state of play at the end of September. Now, some people are going to see this announcement of the state of play and assume that this is what he's talking about. And I think it's safe to say that that is not what he's talking about. We literally saw this earlier this year, where again, the last day of May, Sony did a Borderlands 4 state of play, and people were saying, like, I guess that's it. I guess that's the state of play we're getting. But then we found out that no, just a couple weeks later, we're getting the proper June state of play where we saw third party games. Sony announced Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, and the rest is history. So, yeah, I think it's safe to say that this is just kind of kicking it off. This is not the main event. And it's interesting. It's interesting that they're partnered with this game in particular. I think it's a good pairing. Um, yeah, that's the thing, Neo. That's the thing. We're still supposed to be getting Saros gameplay this year, and that's the thing. We already have that confirmed. They confirmed that back in February that we are getting Saros gameplay this year. Now, I'm not really sure that they would want to push it beyond September. You know what I mean? Like, it would be kind of surprising. They could do it anytime. They could do it in October, November, or December. But I mean, it's like, yeah, they just simply said later this year, and we're in the last quarter now. It's September. So I think there's a really good chance that we're going to be getting a more proper event from PlayStation. In fact, I'm like 90% sure we're going to. And yeah, I think it's safe to say that we will see some Saros gameplay, right? Very exciting. Dumpy Koala, what's going on, man? I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. And that's the thing, right? Like, Irfan, you're saying a showcase, question mark? Well, yeah, we know Tokyo Game Show is happening at the end of this month. Sony's already confirmed to be there. We know that the last week of September, there's going to be likely a major focus on Ghost of Yotei as well, because, I mean, it's launching on October 2nd. We've already been seeing them market that game a lot. But yeah, I do feel as though if Sony wanted to do a showcase, they could do one. I don't want to like hype people up. No, boss, you can't do that. I don't want to hype people up, and get people's expectations out of whack. But the reality is Sony is sitting on quite a bit. Now, I'm not saying everything they're sitting on is going to be something you're excited about or something you want to see. I'm not going to say that. But we know they're sitting on Saros gameplay. We know that, there are quite a few live service games that have yet to be revealed. Team LFG, Fairgames, the Horizon live service. We need to see the Marathon re-reveal. Single player wise, we're looking at games like Wolverine. Still not sure if the Venom game is real. Santa Monica's new IP. Media Molecule's new IP. We don't know if Sony Bend or Blue Point have anything ready to show, right? We know that Naughty Dog has a second game that's been in development for multiple years and probably could be, revealed at any time. And the list just kind of goes on. The truth is that, Sony does have quite a bit. It's just a matter of the timelines of it all and, whether or not they really want to put on a big showcase. I think the reality is that most, if not all, PlayStation fans feel as though we are long overdue for a proper showcase. I have to imagine Sony is understanding of this to some degree. I also have to imagine that if Sony is going to do a showcase at some point, whether it's this month, next year, or whenever, right? They understand that the last showcase they put on was not good enough. People were disappointed. People were let down. And, people want a good show. That's what they want. They want an exciting showcase. And it's not to say that if they do a state of play, another one later this month, it's not to say that it couldn't be good. They do have a known pattern. The pattern is state of play every 3 to 4 months, where the first 25 to 30 minutes is dedicated to third and sometimes second party games. And then the last 7 to 10 minutes is dedicated to first party. And that's the way Sony's been doing it for close to 2 years now, pretty much. So, yeah, we are long overdue for a showcase. You think Santa Monica could show off their game at the Game Awards? That's certainly a possibility. Really, really, really curious to see what that game's going to be. Honestly, like, I'm more curious about that game than I think any other game. I still feel confident that Santa Monica's next game reveal will be Corey's game. Corey not Corey Landiga, Corey Barlog. And I feel confident that it's going to be some kind of Atreus game. I do. And I think a lot of people are disappointed at that notion, but I think it's one of these things where once you see it, you might change your mind. I really feel that way. I think once you see it, people might be like, you know what, actually, this is pretty sick. I'm just saying, yeah, I'm not going to doubt Corey Barlog, bro. That's one creative individual that I'm not going to doubt. I'm not going to bet against. Doesn't mean, doesn't mean it's a guarantee I'll be on board with what he's cooking, but he's somebody along with Santa Monica Studio. I mean, come on, man. They immediately get the benefit of the doubt every time. Every time. I do not doubt them. And by the way, guys, I see we're at 44 likes. Let's get 6 more likes and get that up to 50. I'm going to start pushing you guys to like the stream a little bit more just because it really does help. We're trying to bring new people in. We are getting new people in. I've been noticing that. We've been getting new people into the stream, new people joining the community. And so if you're wondering, anytime you hit that like button, it is helping. It's pushing this stream as well as all the other streams out into the YouTube algorithm and bringing new people on board. Let's see here. Saying if a state of play is all we got, I'm okay with it. I mean, yeah, to me, it's the quality of it that matters. Like, whatever Sony chooses to do, like, it's cool to get this 007 state of play. That is cool. I think a lot of people are very excited for it. I know a lot of people are very excited for it. I'm seeing a lot of people saying they are psyched to see this game. But, yeah, I think the expectation is Sony's going to have a more proper show at some point in the coming weeks. And when they do, for me, it's the quality of it that matters. Like, the last state of play that we got in June, I was a little bit disconnected from a lot of people because I was let down. I felt disappointed. And a lot of people were upset with me that I was disappointed or felt as though I was being maybe a little too entitled. And the reason being was because the big grand reveal, first party reveal from Sony was Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. And it just didn't really resonate with me. Like, it looks good. I think the game looks actually really good. But I can't deny that I was definitely expecting something else, right? Like, I am sitting there thinking, like, are we going to see Santa Monica's game? I'm sitting there expecting like maybe Wolverine potentially. Maybe my expectations were out of whack, but it just definitely wasn't that. And when I saw that that's what it was, and like this is the final reveal, I was like, oh, damn, But then I saw how happy everybody was, and how excited they were, and how this was really like a shock announcement for a lot of people. And then I kind of like readjusted, I recalibrated. I'm like, you know what? Actually, looking back at it, when I'm outside of the moment, right, with anticipation, letting it sink in, taking a closer look at it, I'm like, this is pretty sick. And actually, I'm gonna play this game. I'm gonna give it a shot. Don't know if I'll be good at it, but yeah, man, you just get this feeling. You just get this feeling that Sony, they have the ability to put on a big and exciting show. But it's just a simple question of will they do it? Just because they can doesn't mean they will. And that has been proven, right? That has been proven. Do you think, oh, by the way, happy Labor Day to everybody out there. At least in the US. Pretty sure it's just a US holiday. Let me double check that. I'm fairly certain. It is. Okay, so for everybody in the United States, happy Labor Day to you all. Forgot to mention that. But I have somebody in the chat asking, MBG, do you think the Fairgames situation is a one-off or a sign of turmoil at Sony? I don't think it's a one-off, but I don't know that the turmoil extends that far. I think the turmoil is probably relegated to the live service sector. I think there's a lot of turmoil with the live service sector. I think the only bright spot is Helldivers. Oh, is it Labor Day in Canada too? Oh, my bad, Corey. My bad, bro. He's like, how are you going to leave me out like that? MBG, if you see all the games you want Sony to make announced, but they're in 2027 or 2028, would you be disappointed? Not necessarily, no, because that's not that far away. At least it doesn't feel like it. I mean, 2028 is kind of far away, but no, I think realistically, we're going to have to see what's coming for 2026. I think that's what's up next. Because think about it. The next first party release that Sony has is Ghost of Yotei, and that's coming on October 2nd. Beyond that, what do we know about? Well, we know about Marvel Tokon. We know that's a 2026 game, but that's about it, right? Well, Saros, actually. So we know two. Come to think of it, we know of two games that are targeting 2026 from Sony Studios or from first party. But I think the reality is there's still that like big heavy hitter. Saros is a big game. To me, Saros is a heavy hitter. But I understand that to a lot of people, Saros is not the really big heavy hitter that people would expect, right? To me, I think Saros should be viewed as a tentpole title, but realistically, I'm not sure that it will be. So the real question is, what is the major tentpole title that Sony's going to have for 2026? You know, we're getting closer to the end of the year. People want to know. You know, is Marathon now going to be a 2026 game? I think it's safe to say it will be. Really curious to see how that re-reveal goes. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do about Marathon. This is why I feel like the turmoil that Sony's having internally, it has to do with the live service games. It really does. Yeah, there's Intergalactic as well. Of course, we could see more of that at any point. Wolverine reveal would be hype. Corey Barlog's game would be even more hype. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine if we got both? I don't think that's going to happen. That to me seems like a pipe dream, but yeah, man, it's like I said, Sony is sitting on these things and it's completely unrealistic for anybody to expect Sony not to do something more this month or very soon. I don't have any inside sources, you know, I'm not a leaker or anything like that, but I feel like you don't need to be to understand that this state of play we're seeing for 007 is just the appetizer. You know, it's something Sony will continue to do with third-party games. But in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we're going to be getting the main course. And I just want to know, man. I just want to know if Sony's actually going to try to pull off a showcase or not, because that would be very exciting. I feel like if they were to do a showcase, people would be very excited. There would still be people ready for disappointment, but just the fact that they're doing it, right? People would be mega hyped for that. There's no denying that if they do announce a state of play, there's going to be some level of disappointment where people are like, oh, another boring third-party state of play or whatever, you know? But it is what it is, I guess. It will be what it will be, is what I mean to say. And we have Michael Lynch with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Michael. He says, I don't know how somebody couldn't be excited about the new James Bond game. It looks really action-packed, and the character looks like Tom Cruise. I was thinking that, too, when I was making my thumbnails and looking at these pictures. I'm like, he looks just like Tom Cruise. I mean, look, man, like I said, I'm not the biggest James Bond fan, and even I think this looks pretty good. And I remember watching the announcement at the PlayStation State of Play we got in June, and yeah, man. It seems like it's checking all the boxes. It's hitting all the right points. I just think, you know, people are at this point where it's like 30 minutes of gameplay. That's a lot. Like, let's face it, that's a lot of gameplay, dude. It almost seems to me like they're going to be showing like I would assume like the first 30 minutes of the game. And it sounds like it's going to have everything. And Michael Lynch with another $2 super chat says, you were basically playing as Ethan Hunt. You know, it is a little bit surprising they've never made like a Mission Impossible game. As far as I'm aware, I don't think they have. Did they? Maybe like in earlier generations, there was like one of those random movie tie-in games. I don't know. But yeah, people are stoked for this James Bond game. People are stoked for the fact that it's IO doing it. Everybody always felt that they were the perfect studio to handle an IP like this and make a game like this. And you're right. It does sound like it's going to be very action packed. I mean, they're straight up teasing in the blog post here. I mean, they straight up say, we're going to have everything from high speed car chases to on foot stealth sequences and shootouts. Intense espionage gameplay. Could be good. Could be good. Mr. B, you're saying you're excited for 007 First Light. Action, espionage, spy, like a blend of Hitman and Uncharted. That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking like some of these set pieces might be reminiscent of Uncharted and the type of set pieces you would expect in that game. But yeah, you naturally think of Hitman. I mean, I think of like Metal Gear or Splinter Cell and how many, like I want to know how much stealth there is going to be in this game and how fleshed out that stealth is going to be. Because a lot of games do stealth, you know? A lot of games do stealth. Very few games do stealth well, in my opinion. You know, and that's what makes, I think, the Metal Gear Solid games and the Splinter Cell games and the Hitman games so special to a lot of people is these are games that are experts. You know, they're considered the experts in the field when it comes to stealth gameplay. And it's obviously going to be a big part of 007. And yeah, I think that this is the right. I think they'll pull it off. I do. How is my Metal Gear? How's my time with Metal Gear going? It's going good. I was saying at the beginning of the stream that I probably need to put 1 to 2 more hours into Death Stranding, and then I'll have the platinum, and then I'm gonna fully sink myself into Metal Gear. I've still been playing it, but not as much as I would like. I would like to get the platinum for it. That's ideally what I will end up doing. Yeah, Chronos is coming out too. Man, I completely forgot about that. Wait, is that coming out this week? I think it is. Chronos: The New Dawn. Well, how it shows me everything except the release date. Oh, there we go, September 5th. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Jeez. Well, I guess that one's gonna have to wait a little bit too, I suppose. I don't know. This is too much. Yeah, and then Silent Hill F is coming, Dying Like the Beast. That's crazy. Chronos looks really good though. Chronos very much has Dead Space vibes, and his Bloober Team, but Bloober Team really proved themselves, man. I mean, we talked about that last year. Silent Hill 2 Remake was my game of the year, and I still can't believe how good of a job Bloober Team did. And so this is their own original game, and it looks like it's taking inspiration from Dead Space. Don't forget Trails in the Sky 1 Remake. I didn't even know about that, bro. Hanzo says, I got back from holiday, so I'm not up to speed. You didn't really miss much. I think a lot of people went on vacation or on holiday the past week or two. But yeah, the big thing, like I said, is that State of Play was announced for September 3rd, focused on 007. I haven't tried Lost Soul Aside yet. To be honest, I'm thinking it's just going to be a game I pass on. It's unfortunate that it's reviewing as poorly as it is. I mean, if this game was sitting at like a 90 on Metacritic or something and got like and everybody was raving about it and it's like, dude, this is a must play, I probably would be on it right now. But I was always a little bit trepidatious with this game because, you know, everything I saw, I'm like, the combat does look good, but I'm not sure what else about it's really grabbing me. And from what I've heard, you know, people like I'm just being honest when I say that if this game was getting rave reviews, it would have my attention more so. But I've still been paying attention, and it seems to me like this game gets one thing right, and it does one thing very well, and that is the fast-paced, action-oriented combat. And anybody who's into those types of games, mostly everybody that I've come across, they all say the same thing, that like this game's fun. Like the moment-to-moment combat and the gameplay in general is fun, but every other area of the game seems to be lacking quite severely or struggling. And because of that, it seems like it's really not getting good reviews because it is a $60 game. It is a $60 game. But Dan, you're saying that's unfair. I'm not saying I would only play it because of that. I think I'm just saying something that's obvious for a lot of people, that if this game was like getting glowing reviews, you'd probably pay closer attention to it, where you're like, oh, like maybe I should get on this right away. Truth be told, even if it was reviewing very well, I still wouldn't be playing it right now because Metal Gear is the priority. I didn't expect it, and that kind of helps us segue to our next topic here. I did not expect Lost Soul Aside to only get 9 reviews, first of all. Well, now it's got 12 reviews. Apparently it updated. There's 12 reviews in total for Lost Soul Aside, and it's sitting at a 60 on Metacritic. I didn't expect that. I thought, based off of everything I've seen, I'm like, this game looks like it could be like a 75, 78, maybe an 80, maybe even a high 80s game. Maybe it could be a sleeper hit. And unfortunately, that's not what's going on with it. And even reviews from the player base, if you go just based off the user ratings, it has 249 user ratings, and it's sitting at a 5.8. And yeah, so it seems like it's really comfortably sitting at like a 6 out of 10, generally speaking. And it says there's no getting around the fact that Lost Soul Aside feels like it belongs in the mid 2010s. And honestly, that would be fine, were it not for the fact that the game feels so compromised in so many other aspects of its design. It's difficult to shake the feeling that it just feels outdated rather than a heartfelt love letter to the past. Though the soundtrack is frequently excellent and the combat is reliably exciting, neither are enough to save Lost Soul Aside from tumbling into a deep abyss of rank mediocrity, which is a shame, especially considering the sheer amount of graft that has gone into the game since its inception all those years ago. So that's just one random review from a player who gave it a 5 out of 10. And yeah, it seems like this game is kind of like split right down the middle. And it's a shame. It is a shame because this game, I mean, you got to give Sony the credit here, where they stuck to it, man. I'm sure there were multiple times where Sony was questioning whether or not they should stick by this game and continue to publish it, and they saw it through to the end, man. They made it part of the China Hero project. They stuck to it for the 10 years, and the development team obviously, they did the best they could. They did everything they could. And there's a chance I might play it. I'm not going to guarantee that, but there is the demo, and maybe at some point I will download that and give it a shot and just try it for myself, because who knows, maybe it'll be one of these games where it's like I'll play and I'll be like, this is actually really fun, or maybe I'll walk away and be like, yeah, this is not that great. I won't know until I try it, but just going based off of reviews, it seems like it's not off to the greatest start. I don't know if Sony would be regretting it per se. It's hard to say. We know that Sony cares very much about, they care about having the prestige around their games, which is ironic because they do have failures. That's just a fact. There are times where Sony publishes games that don't review well, that would be considered critical failures, and in some cases, commercial failures. They're not immune to that, but they very much do care about it. So I'm sure they're not thrilled, at seeing how Lost Soul Aside is doing. But at the same time, maybe they knew. We do have to question why the reviews are so late, right? I think maybe they knew that this game wasn't gonna get the best reviews, and maybe that would hurt its sales potential. But the vibe of it is more like Final Fantasy than DMC, but the combat is literally trying to copy and paste DMC, in my opinion. I think the reason why Sony remained this committed to this game, like even knowing that it maybe isn't going to review too well or it's not going to sell too well, I think the main reason they stayed committed to it is because of the China Hero project. is because they want to send a signal to developers that we will support you through thick and through thin. Now, is that going to be true every time? Probably not. Are there games that will probably that will get canceled and probably should get canceled? Yeah. But you get what I'm saying? Sony's really trying to create a big presence in China. They're trying to make PlayStation more consequential in China and grow that area. And so it would make sense that, like, this is a game that they rallied behind since 2014. If they pull the plug on it 7, 8 years in development, 9 years in development, what kind of signal are you going to send to the Chinese game development community? They might feel like, oh, you know what? If we don't produce mega big hit games, then we shouldn't expect Sony support in any capacity. I think it's all about the messaging and the optics around it. That's my speculation anyway. I could be completely wrong. Let me see. Oh, Unico. Can you Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like obviously I don't want to I don't encourage people to go to those channels, but my whole thing is as long as you are following the rules here while you're here, you know? Like I can't control what you do outside of here, nor would I try. Um so yeah, Unico, I'll figure that out. I don't know how to. Yeah, I don't know if Gaming Survivor's here right now, but no, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. I don't want to ban people just because they're in other places. I don't necessarily condone that, but people are free to go where they want, watch what they want, support who they want. The only thing that I'm concerned with is how they're behaving here. You're saying he's an agitator here and associates with known troublemakers. Well, that's the only thing I can't really vouch for. El Unico, is that I don't know. Like I haven't. I don't know what your. I don't know if there's truth to what Gaming Survivor's saying. If you're an agitator, I haven't been paying, I guess, that close attention. I think like people in the chat would know better than I. Um, yeah, that's true too, Harlem. You're saying the studio is small. That is true. The studio for Lost Soul Aside is apparently a very small team. Benino, I was explaining earlier that we're going to be getting another show from Sony. The 007 State of Play is not the only show that Sony's doing. Like 95% guaranteed. It would be wild if that was the only thing they did. You can expect another State of Play, or maybe even that 1% chance of a showcase. Dare I say? Hold on. We have Michael Lynch with another super chat. Michael, thank you for that, buddy. He says, there's an incredible movie at your fingertips that you and your wife can watch tonight. Will you take the plunge and finally watch A Time to Kill? Bro, you're becoming the new Novenzer. Trying to recommend these movies to me. A Time to Kill. I can't make any promises, Michael Lynch. It's a mystery. It's a mystery what I watch at night. Even I don't know what I'm going into half the time. I would like to eventually watch that as well as the movie Enemy that has been recommended by Novenzer multiple times. Apparently, these are both very good movies. I like to think eventually I'll get around to it. Apparently, they are really good. Um, maybe next time, Solaire, remind me. I don't want that taken over the stream again today. The Shrek movies, really? Somehow now we're just recommending Shrek movies. Tokon beta codes, still haven't gone out. Why do you think that is? Were they supposed to go out by now? You think Sony might wait to show gameplay of Saros after Yote releases? Well, if Sony were to do a big state of play or showcase towards the end of this month, they could always squeeze in another trailer, maybe the launch trailer for Ghost of Yote. They could do that too. I don't think they're necessarily afraid of anything taking away from the game. Sony doesn't seemingly operate that way. And yeah, guys, thank you for joining me today. Once again, we have over 230 people here. If you could take a moment and please hit that like button. We're already at 71 likes. We could easily get to 100, and it definitely helps. And yeah, consider dropping support if you want to support the content and the channel and the community. The beta starts from September 5th to the 7th. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's still plenty of time. There's pretty much this entire week. I'm sure they'll get sent out soon. I didn't sign up for that, but for those who did, if you get the chance to play, you'll have to let me know how it is. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, Chase. They have plenty of time. If they want to show off Saros, and Saros we know isn't coming till next year, I think Saros will be an early 2026 game from Sony. Maybe like February or March, maybe even April. I could see that. Yeah, I think it's fine if they want to show it this month. Plenty of time. My whole thing is like, knowing GTA 6 is targeting May, I think it's safe to say that Sony's probably not going to have anything releasing too close to that. So like the latest I could see Saros coming is April. The state of play has to be before Tokyo Game Show. I'm hoping it's either next week or the week after. Well, once again, Jeff Grubb did reiterate. Well, he didn't reiterate, but he stated last month that Sony has a show planned for the end of September. So Tokyo Game Show begins September 25th, which is a Thursday. And I do agree with you. I think Sony would have to do the state of play prior to that date because they're going to be at Tokyo Game Show. So, I mean, we're looking at potentially Tuesday, September 23rd. If they want to do it on a Monday, it could be the 22nd. If they want to do it sooner than that, they could do it on Thursday the 18th or Friday the 19th. But I feel like that's more of the middle of the month, not necessarily the end. So I'm looking at, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Basically like the fourth week of September. It seems like that could be where they land. Maybe September 23rd. But we'll have to obviously be patient, see if that turns out to be true. Maybe we'll get more information if it is. Like I imagine Jeff Grubb will give us some kind of update simply because, you know, he knows that he's the source at this point for these shows. And I'm sure people are asking him right now that the 007 state of play was announced, like, hey, is this it? Is this what you were talking about? Could you imagine if he said it was? Then I would be worried. Then I would be nervous. If Jeff Grubb comes out and says, oh, yeah, that actually was what I was talking about, I guess it's happening way sooner, I'd be like, no way. There's no way that's what Sony's going to do. Yeah, I don't think Saros gameplay is going to be at the Game Awards. I'm not anticipating that. The Game Awards feels too far out for something like Saros. But you know, then again, Sony tends to treat the Game Awards like a big event. It is a big event. Let's face it, it is a big event. If they really wanted to, they could show multiple big things at the Game Awards. They've done it before. But it's hard, man. It's really difficult to predict Sony these days. The only thing I actually feel, you know, the only thing I feel confident in saying when it comes to Sony at this point is that they're going to do something in September, not counting the state of play for 007, just because they've always done something in September. Like, this would literally be the first time ever that they didn't do something in September. And that's a possibility, I suppose, but I mean, there has to be some level of predictability, right? Something we can kind of fall back on. At least one thing. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And that's crazy to think. 2026 is kind of right around the corner. It's not quite here, but yeah, it's just a couple of months away. And yeah, Mr. B, I can agree with that too. You're saying Saros deserves the attention that the Game Awards brings. I can agree with that. Yeah. I mean, Returnal, people talk a lot about whether or not Returnal was a successful game or not. And in my opinion, it was successful across all fronts. It was the first time Housemarque made a AAA game. It was clearly a somewhat, I would say, under the radar game to a degree. It was a PS5 only title, and it came out in April of 2021 when there were about 7 to 8 million PS5s sold. So the PS5 didn't even reach 10 million units sold. It didn't even have a 10 million install base, and it still went on to sell, I think, 800 to 900,000 units, and I think then went on to surpass 1 million. And Sony was very happy with the game. By all accounts, Sony was very satisfied and very happy with the game. They were proud of Housemarque. Housemarque obviously was thrilled to see that the game was a success. And more importantly, if you've played Returnal, you know it is an incredible game. And I know that maybe for some people it was a bit too tough, but for those who played it and were able to overcome some of the challenges and beat it, go for the platinum, I think it's safe to say that, like, yeah, dude, it's one of the better games that I think, if not one of the best games that Sony has produced this generation. It's up there. And so Saros, I imagine, is going to be better across the board, refined and improved upon in almost every way. I'm very excited for Saros, and I do want to see it get more attention. I do want to see it. It deserves more success. Like, Returnal simply deserves more success, and so by extension, Saros hopefully will be that thing that does it. Mini Tom, you're saying you think the 007 game will fail, to be honest? Why do you think that? Do I think the 007 state of play is a waste? I mean, it's a 50-50 thing. On one hand, I do feel like it's underwhelming just for me personally, because it's like, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of these third-party state of plays. Now, if Sony does a third-party state of play for a third-party game that I am super excited for, I mean, like, it's one of my most anticipated games, I'll express more excitement, certainly. Like, I will feel like it's not a waste, right? Like when they announced the Borderlands state of play, I was like, I don't care about this, and this is not what I was waiting for. You know what I mean? But with 007, I'm kind of in the middle with it, where it's like, it does look promising, it does look interesting, and I could see myself getting into it. So it's like one of these things where I am actually curious to see this gameplay and see their presentation. But yeah, it's always just one of these things where when we get these third-party state of plays, people just kind of are wondering, all right, Sony, is that all you got? Is that all you have for us? Well, getting back to Saros, Jack, with what you're saying, if they're going to do a 10 to 20 minutes of gameplay for Saros, you don't think it's going to be part of the Game Awards? Well, that's the thing when they say gameplay reveal. We don't know what form that's going to take. Like, we don't know if they're going to say, here's a dedicated state of play for Saros. We don't know if they're going to say, here's just a 2-minute gameplay trailer for Saros that's going to be dropped in somewhere at a state of play or the Game Awards. They didn't really give us any more details on that. I mean, it would be surprising if they just did a state of play, because I don't think I could be wrong, but I feel like that's not really how Sony usually does it. Like they show the reveal trailer, then maybe another trailer for the story and, a gameplay, a little bit of a gameplay and story mix trailer, and then they do a state of play, but they could do it that way. They could have a Sorrow state of play in the pipeline, you know? It's hard to say. I agree with that. Housemarque was a good acquisition of Sony. We frequently talk about some of the failed or maybe not so great acquisitions that Sony made, such as Bungie and Firewalk, which ended up already getting shut down. But there's no denying that the two smartest, and they're no brainers, but the smartest acquisitions Sony made were Bluepoint and Housemarque by far. Still a little bit worried about what's going on with Bluepoint though. Sony needs multiple first-party reveals, so many studios that seem to be MIA this gen. Well, that's what I'm saying, man. They seemingly are sitting on quite a bit. Mini Tom, you're saying, why do you think they changed 007 character when it would blow up with getting the original character from the movies or something they missed out? Oh, I don't know, Mini Tom. That's the thing. I'm not too steeped into the 007 lore like that, where it's like, I mean, I'm sure for some people it's a big deal, but I don't know. For me, it's just like, yeah, that's fine. That's kind of what I was thinking, or at least that's what they were conveying, Hanzo. It seems like they're really just kind of, they want to do their own thing and tell like a new story or something, like they want to have like a bit of a fresh start. That's the vibe I get from this game, and I'm pretty sure that they even talked about that. You're going to reserve your opinion for Housemarque. You need to see how Sorrows turns out first. Remember that Returnal's director Harry Kruger left the studio after the acquisition. That's true. But one thing I do recall, because that's a good call out, that did happen. One thing I do recall though is when Harry Kruger left, he did say that he was leaving like on very good terms, and the studio. It seems like he basically left after they already had everything locked in for Sorrows, where he's not really going to be needed, and he's like, I'm ready to just kind of move on. I don't think there was any turmoil or bad blood or anything like that. And he said that the studio is being left in great hands. So I am pretty confident in that. If there was like silence and it was abrupt, but if it was like silence and, there were question marks of like what's going on here, maybe I'd be a little bit more worried. But I still don't know the answer to that question, Irfan. I still don't know. PS5 gen feels carried by Insomniac, Santa Monica, and Team Asobi. Well, there's no denying that. I mean, we've talked about Naughty Dog. There's no denying that I think there was a higher expectation for Naughty Dog by this point. They could still pull through. The generation's not over. Santa Monica, we got to see what they do with their second game. I think that they did an incredible job with Ragnarok. But yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. It feels like we're at a point where we need a little bit more. We need just a little bit more. And I think we're at that point where we should be getting ready to, we should be on our way to seeing more and getting more. Let me see here. Okay. So here. Seems like 2026 is the year of gaming. I mean, we have to obviously assume that some things are probably going to get delayed. Some of the things that we're anticipating in 2026 might end up not making it or coming way later in 2026. But yes, generally speaking, 2026 is looking like it's going to be an unbelievable year. Like quite literally an unbelievable year, where 2026 is looking like it could be a year where people look back on it like that could be a contender for the greatest gaming year ever, right? Like it'll be up there in that upper echelon of gaming years that people kind of fight over. Um, the way 2026 is shaping up, and that's the thing. Obviously, when you think of 2026, you think of GTA 6, and it kind of creates. I mean, there's like a 50-50 thing, right? Where it's like GTA 6 could scare so many games away that it's like, well, yeah, GTA 6 is basically going to carry the bulk of 2026. But at the same time, like you could just tell that a lot of developers are going to be ready to go in 2026. We're already seeing that. We're already getting that kind of overwhelming feeling. No chance, Surf, and I don't anticipate that at all. No. I've seen, boss, you can't jump up there. You can't do that. Okay? Guys, remember what I said. If you want to help support the channel, consider dropping some member gifts. Corey dropped 5 earlier. Maybe we can make our way to 25 so I can give this boy some of his treats and he can calm down because he's getting rambunctious as always. I have to keep him contained. Yeah, I mean, Hollow Knight Silk Song, people are going nuts over that. And apparently it's only going to be $20, which is kind of shocking. I think people were very surprised to find that out. Very surprised. I saw some people were saying they were expecting like $40 or $50 even. Yeah, it's only $20. That's been confirmed, by the way. It leaked out at first, but then they confirmed it. It's $20, 20 US dollars. Is it on Game Pass? Well, damn, dude. Yeah, there you go. Not bad at all. Yeah, I've seen some people talk about the idea of GTA 6 possibly being a game that launches with a lot of problems or like something like reminiscent of Cyberpunk or whatever, but no. No offense to CD Projekt Red, but this is Rockstar, you know. And this is their main game that they've been, it's not going to be like that. I'm not saying it'll be perfect. I could see them having some issues, but I'll tell you right now, man, this last year or the last like 6 to 9 months of development for this game very likely is just dedicated to just polishing. Hundreds of developers just polishing, squashing bugs, and refining. Am I going to get Chronos? I want to play it at some point. I do want to play it at some point. The problem is I'm going to be playing Metal Gear. So I don't know. We'll see. Like, they did confirm a physical version for PS5 for Chronos. So if I were to get it, I would like to get the physical version. But if they release GTA 6 RP mode, oof, that would take over 2026. I don't know if I can go back to 30 FPS MBG. I can't do it. Well, we don't know. We don't know yet, dude. We don't know if GTA 6 is actually going to be a 30 FPS game. I'm ready for it to be, and I will gladly play it at 30 FPS because I'm not going to miss out on GTA 6, but we don't know. We have to wait and find out. I think we'll find out soon. Soonish. So, I did beat Death Stranding 2, but I haven't. I'm going to platinum it and probably 2 more hours of gameplay. I'll have the platinum. Yeah, that's the big question, Irfan. Is GTA 6 going to be 60 FPS on the PS5 Pro? We do not know. We don't know. It would be amazing if it was. We do know that there's a major update to the PS5 Pro launching next year. It's basically going to get the equivalent. It's just going to get the full version of FSR4. I mean, is Rockstar going to take advantage of that on the PS5 Pro specifically in order to be able to maybe increase the frame rate and bump it up to 60. I could see them doing it, but I'm not banking on it, you know? Like, it sounds like a possibility for them to do that, but I'm not banking on it. Will it be 60 on the PlayStation 6? Maybe that's the real question we should be asking. Yeah, that's the real question we should be asking, right? MBG, FSR has nothing to do with CPU limits, though. That's the problem. Just means the game will look way sharper on Pro. Well, yeah, you are right. It does kind of seem to me like if GTA 6 is going to have a 60 FPS performance mode, it would be something that would also exist on the base PS5. There's only been one example of a game that I know of that offered a 60 FPS mode on the PS5 Pro and only the PS5 Pro. And if you played it on the base PS5, you only got it at 30 FPS. And it was an indie game. And I think it was the game called Empire of Ants. It's like an indie game. It's like a photorealistic looking game, though. But that's the only time I ever heard of a game actually being, like, actually having a PS5 Pro exclusive 60 FPS mode. So it is possible. It is a thing, apparently. But yeah, I mean, GTA 6 is going to be a technical marvel, and it's going to be pushing the limits of any system that it runs on. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm anticipating. I'm hoping for the best, I guess. I'm hoping that by the time the full marketing cycle for GTA 6 kicks off, I'm hoping that one of the big reveals is like it's going to have a 60 FPS performance mode. It doesn't have to be exclusive to the PS5 Pro. You know, I think that's just what some people are anticipating. But you know, I'll tell you what, if this game comes out and it is locked at 30 FPS, I think you'll see people complain about it for maybe a day, maybe 2 days, and then it won't matter. I really feel that way. I think that the reality is people just want to get their hands on GTA 6 and they do not care. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are more people than I think that are like, nah, I'm good. I'll wait for the next gen version or I'll wait for the PC version. Maybe there are more people like that. But I just feel like a game this hyped, a game that people have been waiting this long for, not so sure, man. I'm not so sure that if it is locked at 30 FPS, it's going to be as big of a deal as people believe it will be. You're saying GTA 6 will never surpass Cyberpunk 2077 path tracing visual fidelity on console? It is impossible. Well, all I know is I don't doubt Rockstar, dude. That's the last studio I would ever doubt regarding anything. Definitely not. Yeah, that's another question we have too. Will GTA 6 make its way to the Switch 2 at any point? You would think they're going to want to make that happen. Mini Tom says he's just going to wait for GTA 7. Well, there you go. That's an option. Well, Grooven, I know you're referencing Metal Gear and the problems it's facing with the PS5 Pro, but we have to understand that's not the PS5 Pro's fault. You know, it's not the PS5's fault. It's not the PS5 Pro's fault. It's not the Xbox Series X's fault. It's an unoptimized game. You know, the developers have to optimize. Like it is weird though that like the PS5 Pro version seems to be the most unoptimized version. Konami needs to get on that. Red Dead 2 is still a great looking and playing game that came out years ago on PS4, etc. Well, that's what I mean. Are Xbox players welcome here? Of course, yeah. Yeah, Xbox players, Nintendo players, PC players. We get all sorts of players here. The only thing that I would like to tamp down is the toxicity. And I know people are going to reference my stream from yesterday. I think the problem with my stream from yesterday is that people walk away from it and they're like, man, you're so toxic. But I think the bigger picture, the bigger thing that they miss is like, I'm talking about a few select people. I'm talking about a few select trolls. I'm not talking about a whole group of players. That's never been the case. That's never been the case. But to answer your question, yes, Xbox players are absolutely welcome here. All players are welcome, dude. Like if you play games, hell, even if you don't play games, but you just want to hear about games, everybody's welcome. You know? I just ask people not to troll, not to troll, just to be respectful to one another. And if there are disagreements, just don't, this is why I try to reel in some people, but then I get crazy myself sometimes. So I understand why it's like, well, how are you going to reel in people if you were getting crazy? So I have to set the example. I have to try. Sony, Sony, Sony. Let's agree to disagree. Yeah, I try to reel in some people. And then days like yesterday happen and it's like, well, yeah, Dying Light the Beast looks really good. It's a shame, dude. Like I really want to play that game. September, some of these games I'm going to get too late, but I absolutely want to play them. I want to play Dying Light the Beast. I want to play Silent Hill F. I want to play Chronos. All these games look very good. It's just a matter of like I'm just the type of player where when I am in a game, I'm in a game. Like I'm just in that game and I can't, it's hard for me to move on to another. I can't really balance multiple games at one time. Even Death Stranding 2 and Metal Gear right now, like Metal Gear's on the back burner because I'm like, I just got to finish Death Stranding 2. And luckily I'm about to finish, but that's the thing. Once I pick up Metal Gear and get into it now, it's like, I can't, like, there's no way I'm going to be able to play Chronos and Metal Gear. Like one of these games is going to get much more of my attention and it's going to basically be like, well, why did you even start playing the other one? That's basically what will happen. I see a lot of you guys are saying you're the same way. Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard. Got to find that balance. The best MBG was Blue Box MBG. Still waiting for the day we find out that actually was Kojima, Maybe that's what he put on his USB drive. You know how he said he left a USB drive of ideas? It's just like secretly nestled in that USB drive is like, yeah, I did the Blue Box thing. You can finally reveal it. It's year 2036. Well, that's actually scary. That I just made it sound like Kojima's going to pass away in the next decade. Oops. The year's 2047. I don't know. And we have Terry Boss with a super chat saying, hello, September State of Play and Nintendo Direct. Yes, apparently there's going to be a Nintendo Direct on the 12th, supposedly, and it's going to be a big one. So if you're a Nintendo player, if you're a Switch 2 player, apparently that's going to be one you're going to want to check out. Can you guys stop fighting? Dude. I wish you guys could see this. Boston and Luna are straight up boxing right. Hey. Jesus. Boss, are you okay? Did you guys hear that? Welcome to the stream, guys. That was loud, dude. Oh my, that scared the shit out of me. I was watching the whole thing. You know what happened? His claw got stuck. My other chair's over here. Luna's sitting on it, and Boss was on the floor, and he had his paws up, like on the chair, and they were like going back and forth, and his one claw got stuck on the chair, and I think he got scared and thought, uh-oh, I'm compromised, and he like screamed. Oh, how was just laying up there and you're like, you saw nothing. You heard nothing, you saw nothing. He looks pissed off. Him and Luna are absolutely beefing, bro. We gotta hit that 25 member mark. Hang tight, boss. Meanwhile, Luna's over here just looking at me like, what's his problem? Anyway. Tarnished, what's going on? Sparky Nut says, bro was pissed. Boss is loud like that, man. Like, he's a loud cat. He's a loud boy. He'll scream. It works, though. It freaks me out. I'm like, bro, what? Why? He's got, like, that classic cat scream. Like, that classic alley cat scream. Yeah, you see what he's doing? Tarnish, you see what he's doing? Well, speaking of Hideo Kojima, we have the announcement of a Kojima Productions event called Beyond the Strand. This was actually just announced today. It says Kojima Productions announces 10th anniversary celebration Beyond the Strand. Kojima Productions today announced Beyond the Strand, a celebration of 10 years of Kojima Productions, hosted by Hideo Kojima. The celebratory event will include special guest appearances as well as offer a glimpse into future projects. Beyond the Strand will take place at Toho Cinemas. I don't know how to pronounce that. Somewhere in Tokyo, Japan, on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. So very close to Tokyo Game Show. And that also sounds like the last. I mean, geez, that's. Hold on. September 23rd. That's the day I said that Sony's going to do their state of play. That's the same day. Well, anyway. Free admission, various discounts, movie tickets, advanced tickets, discount coupons are not accepted. There's a whole thing here. Well, anyway, this is going to be interesting. Kojima is celebrating 10 years of his studio, and I'll be honest, the thing I'm most interested in hearing about, the glimpse into future projects. That's what I want to know about. We know about OD. I would anticipate OD is going to be shown off here. We're going to get more information on it. The real question is, are we going to see Fizzant? We know that Kojima went on record recently saying he's the only person working on Fizzant right now. That's how early it is. Like, he's still gathering his ideas, and it sounds like it's in the conceptual stage, to be honest. It sounds like it's completely, it's just not real yet. And it hasn't even begun development. But we know Kojima Productions is an extremely efficient studio. So my guess is that he will show OD or talk a little bit about OD, but then he will talk about Fizzant and give us more information on Fizzant. Maybe he'll reveal somebody who will star in Fizzant. I don't know. Potentially. Oh, yeah, Tarnished, I saw that. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean, right? You see that. You see that, like, these are the lengths that people go to. I just thought it was funny. I'll be honest. I was laughing at it. I'm like, bro, that's crazy. YouTube should do something about that, though. YouTube should do something about that. But yeah, it made me laugh. Oh, yeah, that's true, too. Yeah, there's a Death Stranding. You're right. I'm thinking more of the game side, but he could talk about the Death Stranding anime, show it off. He has a movie or Death Stranding movie that's coming up. So there's quite a few things he could talk about. Absolutely, bro. MBG, check community posts. I started my own Death Stranding delivery company. Your own Death Stranding delivery company, dude. Staybridge Suites. I can't tell if that's real or not. It's AI. Stop showing me your AI, bro. Imagine Kojima revealing Abandoned at the event. What if Fizzant is Abandoned? No. We're not going there. Don't make me get crazy again. Khalifa's just like, yes, feed into it, give in. Did you just quote me, Hanzo? Hanzo straight up quoted me back in 2021. Those are James's shoes. You know what's crazy though? Like, we did get that though, didn't we? Isn't that the craziest thing, Hanzo? Is like, one of the biggest things with that blue box situation was we were convinced it was like a Silent Hill 2 thing. Because, yeah, that 4-second clip looked just like James Sunderland. And then flash forward to 2024, and it's like, here's Silent Hill 2 remake, and it's made an Unreal Engine 5, and it literally looks like that. What if in the end we find out it wasn't Kojima, it was Konami trying to be Kojima, like trying to do cool marketing, and it just totally backfired, and they're like, never speak of this. That sounds more realistic. Isn't that the craziest thing? Lady Gamer can't deal with this. We have Elopes with a super chat saying, have you seen the Twitter banners for Xbox, Helldivers 2, and PlayStation's Gears of War? Wild times, LMAO. I actually haven't checked the banners, but that is crazy. My time here's done. Yeah, no, Elopes with your deletes channel with your super chat. That is crazy, man. It is crazy to think that we started this generation where you had Microsoft coming out at the Game Awards 2019, Phil Spencer walking on stage, announcing the world's most powerful console, the Xbox Series X. And one more thing, here's Hellblade 2. And that cinematic trailer was awesome. And then you have the Future of Gaming PS5 event where Sony's like, we got Final Fantasy 16 as an exclusive. We got Returnal. We got Ratchet and Clank, Demon Souls. And it just felt like, man, here we go. And you look at that, that's so far removed from where we are now, where it's like what you're saying, like now these two companies have banners of each other's games on their social media profiles. Crazy. It's crazy. But not necessarily a bad thing. You know, I think a lot of people are feeling good that Helldivers is growing. What happened to the obnoxious chair? I still have it. It's right here. But sometimes I like this chair better because it's easier to have better posture. But I think a lot of people are happy to see that Helldivers 2 is continuing to be supported, gaining more players, growing. Gears of War is an interesting one. People kind of picked up on the fact that if you get the platinum for Gears of War, it seems to tease that more are coming. I don't know if they're referencing Gears of War E-Day, maybe next year, but some people are thinking Gears of War 2, Gears of War 3. That would make sense, right? Luna, stop that. I'm sorry to hear that, Lady Gamer. Yeah. Gotta hang in there. MBG Sony is so underwhelming. Who wanted a state of play for 007? I know, not me, maybe you. I have seen some people express that they're not interested in this and they are underwhelmed by it, but I've also seen just as many people say they're actually very stoked. to see this game. So I think it's one of these in the middle announcements where it really just depends on if you're excited for this game or not. And if you're excited for the game, I think you're excited for the state of play. If you're not, I think the state of play is like not really something you're going to be into, right? And you're going to feel like, man, I wish we got more. I'm in the middle. That's where I land. Like, I'm interested in the game. I'm interested in seeing it, but I'm definitely assuming we're going to be getting another proper show later this month. Use these. All right, relax.
She death gripped the chair.
MBG, why are we getting this state of play? Is it due soon? Or did you mean to ask me when? Well, the 007 state of play is happening in 2 days. The state of play that I'm referencing, or the next Sony event, is apparently happening at the end of the month. You're saying I saw somebody say Digital Foundry put out a video saying the Xbox ROG Ally X is not an Xbox. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a PC handheld that can stream Xbox console games. Right? Like, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So, like, it's literally not an Xbox. It has the Xbox logo, but if we're getting a state of play, the game must be soon. I mean, I don't know, right? Like, they're showing 30 minutes of 007 gameplay. You would think that they might be getting ready to give a release date announcement. Maybe it'll be a game that comes March next year. I think it's possible. Yeah, first half of 2026. It's definitely possible. In fact, I would say it's probably even likely. By the way, guys, we are sitting at 94 likes. You guys have been doing a great job. 6 more likes, and we get to 100. Let's see if we can hit that 100 like mark. Definitely helps the stream. Everyone wants to avoid GTA 6, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this game's not going to be launching in May. I can tell you that. Could you imagine if it did? Launching May 26th. You're getting hair everywhere, dude. Which means Venom should drop in January. I want to know if Venom's real or not, dude. We've been hearing about this game for a long time. Lady Gamer says, hit the like button, you lazy lot. Well, 4 more and we hit 100. No, she liked the chair. She sat in it. It's very comfortable. Can you guys chill? Oh my God. It's not real. What's not real? The Venom game? It was real at some point. Like, we know that it was real. The question is, did it get canceled? And we don't have any info on that. I mean, I'll be honest, I feel like we would have heard something by now. That's the thing. We've been talking about this Venom game for so long that you would think we would have heard something, whether that be it's canceled or it's real. Now, we did hear this one rumor. I forget where it came from, though, but we talked about it earlier in the year. The rumor claimed that it is real and it's coming next year. And that's all we kind of got from it. We did get confirmation, by the way. This is important to understand. Insomniac themselves Insomniac themselves confirmed this year they're working on 3 games. Now, that was through job listings, but they have 3 games in development. So, Wolverine, obviously Spider-Man 3. What's the third one? What are we thinking? I mean, I feel like the third game, it's like Venom, right? Right? I don't think they're working on X-Men yet. I think it's too soon for that. I think it might be too soon for X-Men. Yeah, Ratchet and Clank could be one. If you go back to their timeline, they were targeting for a new Ratchet and Clank by 2029. So, I mean, would they need this long to make it? Would they need like 4 to 5 years to make Ratchet? Maybe they would. What's interesting is they were originally targeting Venom for this year. It's clear that that timeline got pushed back. That's obvious. Like everything was kind of delayed. Wolverine was targeting 2026. Maybe that isn't delayed, but Venom was on there, and Venom was targeting 2025. A new Spyro. You think they're licensing it from Activision, from Microsoft now? Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. You hate that we have to wait a whole generation for a new Ratchet and Clank. Well, I'm wondering. I think the Ratchet and Clank game is totally on hold, like just completely on hold. The reason why I say that is because the development leads of Ratchet and Clank are now the development leads of Wolverine. Originally, they weren't. We know that there was a shakeup internally at Insomniac where both directors, both directorial positions, I believe. I think there were 2. Or no, there was 2 major positions, one of them being a director. They left or got replaced. And the people that they got to replace them were the people who work on Ratchet and Clank. So, I mean, I have to imagine that if there was a Ratchet and Clank game in development, it's on hold now. But there's still so much we don't know. We also know that Ted Price retired. You know, he was the head of Insomniac. He retired, and now Insomniac has 3 different leads. So, yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot has happened with Insomniac as a studio. And I was going to say it's been a while since we heard from them. That's not true. They were just marketing the PC port of Spider-Man 2, but it feels like it's been a while since we've got a new announcement from them. And so, I don't know, man. For now, I think the big question is if this Venom game is real or not. Do I think Insomniac basically revolving around Marvel is a bad thing? I don't know that I would say it's bad. For me, it's not bad. Like, the fact that they're doing Wolverine and making a Wolverine game is like, hell yeah. I've told you guys before, like, even though it seems like it's had some development issues and we don't know when it's coming, that's like a dream announcement for me. Wolverine's one of my favorite characters. So the fact that the team that did what they did for Spider-Man, they're now going to do that for Wolverine. It makes me glad they're doing Marvel because I don't know that I would want anybody else making a Wolverine game. But I understand where you're coming from, where it's like, well, is this all they're really going to be doing? Are we ever going to get any new IPs? Yeah, Irfin's bringing that up in the chat now. If you looked at the leaked timeline that they put out there, the leaked timeline tells you that they do have plans to make a new IP in the future. But it seems like it's going to come after Spider-Man 3, possibly after an X-Men game. Then they'll make a new IP. And I know how that sounds, where it's like, bro, like, what is that, like 10 years from now? It's like, maybe. But it's there. Like, they're thinking about it. They want to do it. And I think that's important because we know that Sony will let their studios do what they want to do. Oh, Gaming Survivor, I forgot to tell you. I had to take out a couple of wasps with the WD-40. Not even kidding. Shit got real. Had to take him out. Telling you, man, works great. Can't wait for X-Men. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. It's going to be really interesting to see, like, how a Insomniac X-Men game is going to turn out. But, you know, we still haven't even seen Wolverine yet, so. Well, Caliphus, I don't want to think like that. I don't want to think like that, man. Who could make an Infamous remake? I don't know. I don't think it could be a Sony studio. I mean, maybe Blue Point, you would think. Get down, man. I'm not sure what Blue Point's going to do. I don't think they would do an Infamous remake. That would be cool, though. Yeah, a lot of people want to see Infamous come back. It's that time of the year. I woke up and Wasp was trying to land on my bed. They're sending assassins. Bro, it was weird because, like, I have this room upstairs that has an air conditioner on the wall, and I guess one made its way through. And this was big. I was like, okay. It was like this big. I'm like, I literally shut the door, ran in the basement, grabbed the WD-40. I'm like, time to go to work. And then 2 days later, another one came in. Same exact size. This one was crazier, though. This one was flying around and shit. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do, bro. I'm like, this is what I get for being excited about Metal Gear Solid Delta. It's like the pain in real life. This is too real. Dangerous for your cats. Yeah, that's what I mean, dude. Like, yeah, it was weird. I broke out the WD-40, though. I'm not kidding. And took them both out. Took them both out. Boss is hungry, bro. I know, guys. Like, we only got 5 members today. We were supposed to get 25 to feed the beast. Boss is going crazy. If you guys want to get a member train going, just so we're clear, this cat is fed every morning. His actual food. To be clear. He gets his food. These are just the extra treats. He could live without them. He doesn't want to. But all right, let's see here. Is Metal Gear Solid Delta on Game Pass? No, it's not. He's cranky beating up on your other cat. You know, he's pretty passive, dude. Well, I don't know. He's 50-50. I've been saying that a lot this stream. Everything's 50-50. Most of the time he's passive, but he, you know, he's intimidated by Luna, which is funny because she's like the baby. And Lady Gamer comes in. A surprise membership gift from Lady Gamer, who says, you know what? I'll throw one up here. Let's see if we can start a train. Lady Gamer's reminding everybody that you can always drop a single. Singles help. We are going to be doing a members lounge. So keep that in mind as well. Lady Gamer, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I will add that to the counter. There we go. Every contribution helps. Yeah, I saw that. I saw Boss leave the room. He ran out thinking there were treats out there. He's so desperate. He's so desperate. It's crazy. So, one other topic that we do have to discuss, though, Fairgames. The situation for Fairgames just gets worse. So, we have a report here. Fairgames, one of the last remaining PS5 live service games Sony has in the works, lost its game director last month to WB Games Montreal. On LinkedIn, Daniel Drapo, I think that's how you say his name, confirmed his exit from Haven Studio after serving as game director for 4.5 years on the project. So what's important to understand about this is not somebody leaving like early on. Like this game is nearly 5 years in development, you know, and this person was there from the beginning, and this is the director. It's not good. By the way, I'm a little confused right now because it says we have 7 members, but we only had 6 member gifts, and it didn't give me any notification that somebody joined or renewed their membership. So I'm not sure. And we have Michael Mike. Michael Mike with a $20 super chat. Very generous. He says, I love your content. Keep up the good reporting. Well, Michael Mike, thank you so much for dropping a $20 super chat to let me know that you enjoy the content or that you love the content. I'll keep it up, man. I'll do my best. Michael Mike, thank you for that, man. But yeah, I'm just a little confused right now why it says 7 members. Like, I don't know if that's a glitch or not. Like, surely it would notify me. MBG, what are these rumors about a PlayStation 6 being a handheld? It's confirmed through leaked documentation that a PlayStation handheld, codenamed Canis, is in development, and it will be releasing alongside the PlayStation 6. And it's going to be about the power of a PS5. The question that we don't have an answer to is if it's going to be a requirement for developers to make their games work on it. Apparently, it should be relatively easy. And Michael Mike comes in. He drops a $50 super chat. So he just dropped a 20. And now he's dropping a 50 saying, here's another dono for the cat. Boss, we got another fan, bro. Sorry, just the way he's looking at me. He's like, yeah, treats. Well, you know what, Michael Mike, you just dropped a $70 donation in total, man. So we could give Boss a couple treats. We could do that. It's the least I could do. You dropped that $50 specifically for treats. So Boss is going to be very happy. We'll give him some. I won't give him the full amount. I'll give him like half. So that way, if we do end up hitting 25, give him the rest. But Michael Mike, thank you so much for that, buddy. And yeah, guys, if you want to support the channel in any way, whether that be through membership gifts, becoming a member, super chats, direct donos, every little donation, every big donation, it all contributes and it all helps. So thank you for that, guys. Here you go, boss. Finally. Just a couple for now. Would he eat the whole box? Are you asking if Boss would eat a whole thing of treats? He wouldn't eat a whole thing of it, but he would eat until he probably got a little sick. One time he knocked a container over and they all spilled out in the middle of the night, and I woke up and it was just there on the floor. And I think he was just treating it like his dry food. Like he'll just keep going back to it when he gets hungry again. And I was like, ain't no way, dude. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see if this fills him up or not. Yeah, Boss could go crazy with the treats. He could go crazy. It says here, as of this week, I joined W Games Montreal as creative director. I can't wait to start this wonderful adventure with all the great people here at the studio. So, Daniel Drapo, I can't say his name correctly. Daniel Drapo has been there since the beginning with Fairgames alongside studio founder Jade Raymond. She left the studio in May of 2025 following an internal test that raised concerns. This is what Bloomberg reported at the time. Now he has also exited the company. Lead developers come and go from video game projects all the time, but as part of Sony's troubled live service efforts on PS5, the optics surrounding this departure is not encouraging. Many of the first-party games as a service in the works at PlayStation have been canceled prior to their release or quickly taken offline, such as in the case with Concord. Meanwhile, Bungie still plans to put out Marathon, but it has been hit by a wave of plagiarism accusations. So, yeah, man. What are we thinking? First, Fairgames goes like AWOL, basically, or just MIA, I should say, after the reveal at the PlayStation Showcase in 2023. Jade Raymond leaves the studio out of nowhere, and we get reports that apparently there was some kind of internal playtest, or not internal. There was like it was a NDA'd PlayStation Network playtest, and apparently it didn't go well. The feedback was not good. And now the director of the game has departed. I mean, do you guys think I'm calling it too soon? I'm jumping the gun by saying I feel like this game is definitely done for. Lady Gamer says, MBG, I did that gift sub for Boss. Well, thank you, Lady Gamer. He's very appreciative of that. Now he's over there. I don't know what he's doing over there, though. You think it's dead behind the scenes? Yeah, we haven't gotten confirmation that it's been canceled, which is strange to me. But that's the thing, dude. Like, I think what we need to understand, and I think what most people do understand, is that if this game is canceled, the studio is going to get shuttered. There's just no chance it doesn't get shuttered. Unless the only other thing maybe Sony could do with the studio is, if it's possible, convert them into a support studio. That is a possibility, but it really depends. I mean, let's face it, like, what's going to happen to the morale of your development team and how many developers are going to stay when their game gets canceled and then you're relegated to a support team? You're going to lose a lot of people. And the thing about Haven Studio is it's based in Montreal. And, you know, it's in an area of the world where game development it's pretty prolific. You know, there's many studios, a lot of development talent. You know, Sony wants to have a presence in Montreal. And having the studio there is, you know, it allows them to do that and achieve that. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, is that reason enough to keep a team? Because like they're probably pretty expensive. This studio is, I imagine, at least like 70 or 80, maybe even 100 or more developers. Ubisoft's HQ is there. You're saying Montreal is not expensive? Well, I just mean like to just keep a studio going. I mean, certainly not as expensive as a Santa Monica-based studio. Certainly not that. And that's probably one of the reasons why Firewalk was shut down. Firewalk was, I think, based in Washington, and apparently they were very expensive to keep open. And I think that contributed to Sony shutting them down immediately. I don't see a good outcome. I'll be honest with you. I don't see a good outcome for Fairgames. It just seems to me like this game, and I know like people use this term and we throw it around, but it's like, it does seem to me that this game is cooked. I don't know what they can do. Like, you lost your director. Jade Raymond is gone. She was the producer and a founder, you know? No, Dan. Everything about it seems doomed. Yeah, Petrov, I found a dead raccoon in my backyard, and it was massive. It was huge. And I don't even know how it died. I think it got struck by lightning, dude. I'm not even kidding. It was crazy. I told that story. Yeah, it was really a weird situation. Um, Here's my gut instinct evaluation of the situation with Fairgames without being hyperbolic, but being as reasonable as I can be. I think Sony invested in this team and this game at a time when it seemed like this is what the kids will want. I think the studio pitched themselves hard to a very eager Sony, an eager Sony who is ready to break out in the live service space, a Sony that understands they don't really know too much about the live service space, a Sony that's maybe more willing to be finessed by these pitches and by, the illusions of grandeur in the live service space. A Sony that's probably looking at charts and looking at data and allowing that to determine, at least to a significant degree, what type of studios they're going to invest in and what type of projects they're going to greenlight for live service. I think a lot of things have changed since then. I think even when we saw this game revealed in 2023, there was no hype for it. This was Sony's opener, by the way, for the last PlayStation showcase. That's how excited they were for it. And again, I think Fairgames is a representation of Sony being somewhat out of touch. I think Sony has enough people in place at PlayStation to understand that we still want games like Ghost of Yotei. We still want games like Death Stranding 2. We still want games like Saros and Intergalactic, of course. We still want partner games, right? Like what we've gotten with Helldivers. And games like Rise of the Ronin, like last year. Stuff like that, and Neo 3. Stuff like this. I think there's enough people still at PlayStation to understand that. But in terms of trying to broach this live service avenue and different types of games in an effort to appeal to different audiences, which from a business standpoint, I can understand why Sony's doing it. I think Sony is proving that they are out of touch. I think the fact that they completely underestimated Helldivers 2 and didn't have a limited edition controller, didn't have major marketing for it. I mean, they still marketed it, but they didn't push it like they do a lot of their other games. It didn't have the same type of marketing, seemingly. They said that they were committed to supporting it for 1 year. They weren't talking about Helldivers like a 10-year project. I remember, like, during a State of Play, Herman Hulst was talking about how excited he is for the launch of Helldivers 2, and it's coming up, and they're going to support it for at least 1 year. They were already putting a timestamp on it, dude. And, like, it's just crazy when you look at the way that they were talking about it. It's like, do you understand what this game's going to do? Meanwhile, they were all in with Concord. And I know people are tired of hearing about Concord, but when we hear reports about what's going on behind the scenes with Fairgames, it's hard not to talk about Concord, frankly. Because it's like, dude, this game is, I think, it is at a great risk of being Concord 2.0. I know people have made those jokes, and I get it. But, like, without joking, being dead serious, I think this game is at risk of being Concord 2.0. And I think Sony may understand that. The fact that seemingly behind the scenes, this studio is dissolving slowly, but like it's eroding, at least from a leadership standpoint. The leaders who founded the studio and the director of the game, that they're gone. I think it's just safe to say that this project is not going anywhere, because I ask myself, what could Sony do for Fairgames to really change people's minds? Now, granted, we haven't seen gameplay, but that's the problem, right? I think it's because if they show gameplay, it is going to be another Concord situation. I think people are going to see it and they're going to be like, are you serious? They're going to be like, here we go again. Sony just dropped Concord 2 on us. And that's the thing, Mr. B. Sony clearly did that Fairgames playtest because of what happened with Concord. They said, we need to get people to sign up. And they did that. They had people sign up for this beta program. And they said some of these betas and some of these playtests will be NDA'd. And when you sign the NDA, it means you can't talk about it. You can't tell anybody that you played it. You get sued. There's a good chance you'll get sued anyway. And apparently, this playtest took place, and it happened. Like, there are people playing on PlayStation who got to play this game, and the feedback was mostly negative. And that's when we see these high-profile people working at Haven Studio leaving. I just have to ask myself, how much more time and money is Sony willing to dump into the studio and into this project? It's clear that it's failed. I'm sorry. I know it sounds like I'm calling it too soon, and I know that sometimes people don't like to hear that, where it's like you're jumping the gun. You know, you're assuming too much before we even see gameplay. But it's like, dude, I think this is a better safe than sorry situation where Sony just needs to call it. They need to call time of death, and they need to just end it. And I don't want to see the studio get shut down. I would like to think that there's something they can do with the studio, that it doesn't have to be a complete waste. But the last thing I want to see, and I'm sure the last thing Sony wants to see, I'm sure the last thing anybody wants to see, is Sony walk down that path again. Because I'll tell you this right now. If Fairgames isn't canceled and Sony does go through with it, that means they're going to have to show the gameplay. They're going to have to market it, just like they did Concord. If they go through with that again, and the outcome is almost exactly the same or not much better, at that point, Herman, I think, is going to be done. Because, you know, a mistake like Concord, I think, is so insane that, like, okay, maybe, like, there's blame to go around. It's like, maybe we all messed this up. Let's just move on and, you know, and learn from it. Sure. If that happens again, and it's not just Herman, by the way, like, if something like Concord happens again, Sony needs a clean out. Like a complete clean out. I mean, just across the board, bro. And I don't say that lightly. Because you can't have that happen again. The level of failure that would need to be achieved in succession to have, like, to it's like unbelievable. Like, somebody or multiple people have reached a level of incompetence that this is, like, you are actually a liability to the brand, to the business, and to the fan base. And my hope, I know this sounds bad, but I'm just being honest. My hope is that this director leaving Fairgames is a sign that Sony understands that this game is toast and it's over. We're not going through with this. If that's the case, that signals to me that they have learned. Because while I would like for Fairgames to be a good game and something that's like, this is exciting, this could be fun, I implore people to rewatch that launch trailer and really think about what you're looking at. And really imagine how this is going to play out. I do think this is a better safe than sorry situation. You already have Marathon you have to worry about. You can't cancel Marathon. It's too far in. Like, that is something. Sony spent $3.6 billion on Bungie. They're going through with it. I understand. They're going to try to get what they can out of it. You have the Horizon multiplayer game in development, which could be good or could be another disaster lying in wait. You have Project LFG or Project Gummy Bears from Team LFG. Have no idea what that's going to be like. And You have Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, which seems like it's a guaranteed hit. I don't think Fairgames needs to be part of this equation. I really don't. And I'm at a point where I'm afraid if this game doesn't get canceled, I'm afraid of what's going to happen. Because you lost your director, Jade Raymond's gone. We have seen not a sliver of gameplay. What is going on here? You know? Now, I know that this is a stretch, but somebody might say, well, what about Wolverine? Couldn't you say the same thing about Wolverine? But the difference is that's Insomniac. Insomniac, I mean, come on. They're a proven studio. They're a known quantity. They've earned the benefit of the doubt, at least to a degree. This is a new studio that has never released a video game. Mr. B says people actually want Wolverine. It's not going to make money. That's fairly obvious. Well, that's another thing to keep in mind, right? Sony has ambition with their live service, and their ambitions are not small. Their ambitions are quite lofty, maybe too lofty. They've tasted that success with Helldivers 2, so they know that they can do it. They know it's possible, and they know the type of rewards that come with it. But, you know, fail lames, really, Shems? It's like a pyramid scheme. It might not be a bad game, to be honest, but in this day and age, you're fighting against all these other banging games coming out left and right every week. The studio took Steel from the rich to the meta level with Sony. Dude, that's actually crazy. Oh my God, you're right. That's what everybody was making fun of with this game, is like the whole concept is stealing from the rich and billionaires and corpos. Back in dirty Jersey, the scenic Appalachian Mountains. This is such a. It took me a second to realize that was a donation from Rich Rod. It was only the ending that gave it away. Rich, I need to ask you, bro, were you here? Like, did you. You know what? Never mind. Never mind. Rich, I hope you had a good trip. Sounds like you went on a trip. Oh, wait, hold on. It didn't play.
Nine hours drive from Beaver Creek/Dayton, Ohio, now back in dirty Jersey, but man, the scenic Appalachian Mountains is sexy, unlike cult fruity Pib Tranself.
Rich, it sounds like you had a good trip, man. I'm glad you had a good trip. Bro said dirty Jersey. Nobody tell Rich about yesterday. Don't tell him about yesterday. He doesn't need to know. He doesn't need to know. That's so funny, though. That you have to admit the timing is amazing. Yeah, I know. You guys already told him. No. Don't tell Rich. We're just going to pretend yesterday didn't happen. We're calming down. We're relaxed. We're being level-headed. You know, if it calls for calm, it's calling for calm. Or if you're saying Jade Raymond was looking for money, remember she founded Haven right after she left Stadia. She was without a job for over 5 years. She was not committed to Fairgames. Well, I'm telling you, man, if you go back to 2019, 2020, 2021, this was a time where the money was flowing. Everybody was looking to acquire, everybody was looking to pitch, everybody was looking to greenlight new ideas, and it wasn't just PlayStation, it was all around. And I just think that, yeah, man, a lot of stuff that sounded really good back then, nobody could have predicted like where we would be 3, 4, or 5 years from that time. Maybe some people could have predicted, but generally speaking, a lot of people seemingly were caught off guard. And I think you make some good bets, and I think you make some bad bets. And I think it's safe to say that Sony made some bad bets. And I do think Haven and Fairgames is going to end up being one of those bad bets. And I do not want to see Sony go through another Concord situation, man. You will see me blow a gasket. You will see me rant about PlayStation in a way that you never have. That's, it would be bad. I don't want to see that happen. Because it can't. It's just flat out unacceptable. It can't happen. It can't happen. Position now so we don't live through this with the PS6. Well, you can tell there's clearly still some course correction happening from the live service stuff. And you do get the sense that Sony they're not walking away from live service. That's what's interesting. I need it to be understood that Sony founded 2 more studios for live service projects, but they didn't necessarily spin up new ones. And that's the interesting, because you might think, well, how did they found 2 studios for live service without spooling up new projects? Because, well, they founded Team LFG, and that's actually just a Bungie team that's been taken off of Bungie and moved into PlayStation Studios, given their own studio. So whatever that game is they're working on, Sony believes in it. And then you have Dark Horse, not Dark, I said Dark Horse, Outlaw. What is the name of the studio? Dark Outlaw? There we go. I was getting very confused. Dark Outlaw Games. I think that's what they're called. And that's Jason Blundell's studio, and it's clear that that game is the one that was being worked on. Yeah, my bad, Irfan. That's the game that was being worked on by Deviation Games before they were shut down. And Sony clearly believed in it, and they liked Jason Blundell and what he was doing, and they were like, let's just bring you in. Let's just bring you in. So they didn't necessarily greenlight new live service games. And that's what's interesting, is we're at that point where Sony's probably in the process of greenlighting a bunch of new stuff now. And I really, 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 really wonder what they're greenlighting. Rich Rod, I can't explain it, dude. You're just going to have to watch it for yourself. It was a completely unhinged stream. You would have thrived, bro. That's the point. That was your stream. Like, that was supposed to be the one. I think you possessed me yesterday, dude. Go watch it when you get the time. You won't regret it. You're going to be upset. Dude, Rich Rod's going to be so upset. Shems is too. Oh, man. They missed it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We have a Lone Wolf Gamer who uses his milestone chat, a member for 19 months. Thank you for that support, buddy. You're saying, MBG, how are you liking Metal Gear Solid Delta? Also, what other games do you plan on buying this year? I'm really enjoying Metal Gear Delta. I'm just not too far in it, you know? I was saying earlier, Lone Wolf, that I'm just right there with the platinum for Death Stranding. And then as soon as I get that with another hour or 2 of gameplay, I'm moving on to Metal Gear, and I'm sinking my teeth into that and really immersing myself in it. But what I've played so far, I've really enjoyed. It does have some performance issues, and they are noticeable. But you know, even those performance issues can't stop me from enjoying the game. Oh, not yeah. That's funny. They have a trophy for that. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. And when it comes to other games I want to buy, I was mentioning this earlier too, but I want to get Dying Light the Beast. I want to get Chronos at some point. I want to get Silent Hill F. Obviously, Ghost of Yotei is coming up. Honestly, I can't really think beyond that because that's already too much and overwhelming. But I'm sure there's more than that. I want to play Skate, by the way. That's coming out free to play on the 16th. I definitely want to try Skate out. I always love the Skate games. I love Skate 3. Oh yeah, Battlefield 6. See, dude, I'm forgetting that that's coming out in October. I would like to play Battlefield. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to talk about it anymore. It overwhelms me. It stresses me out. Nah, I don't know. Black Ops 7 is a 50-50 thing. That's going to hinge on zombies. When they show zombies, that'll determine it for me. Right now, I'm not excited for it. I got to be honest. But we'll see what they do with zombies. You can't wait for Skate 2. Cautiously excited. The biggest complaint I've heard is the art style, and I'm like, well, if that's the biggest complaint, that's not a problem for me. Oh, Plants vs. Zombies, by the way, replanted, remaster of the first PvZ. Also October. Like, are you kidding me? You got to be kidding me, dude. Yeah, it's too much. You've cleared everything for Yotei. Nothing else is worthy. I mean, that's the thing. Once Ghost of Yotei, my main goal, Garrett, is to ensure that I do everything I want to do in Metal Gear Solid Delta before you know, Yotei comes out. Hold on, guys. You tried to play Expedition 33 but couldn't get into it. It's a shame, Garrett. It's so good. Yeah. I mean, I understand. If you're... I'm sure it's not for everybody. No game is really for everybody, but yeah, Expedition 33 was such a nice surprise this year. Oh yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics in September. Pre-ordered the collector's edition of Ghost of Yotei. Can't wait for that mask. GLP Gamer 1, a member for 9 months. Thank you for that. I appreciate the long time support. You're saying, firstly, love your content. Secondly, Rich Rod is a legend. Thirdly, you need to do a reaction video of MBG reaction videos. Get them back. Oh, I don't know if I would do that, man. Yeah. I mean, you would think with yesterday I'm like this close, but the truth is GLP Gamer, that just creates a cycle, you know? That just creates a cycle that I don't want to get involved in, where there's going to be no winning. You know what I'm saying? There already is no winning, but the idea is it would just create further drama, further bickering back and forth, you know, trying to dunk on one another. The circle of hate. Yeah, like it probably would be entertaining, and I've really considered it, but I don't know, man. I feel like it's something I'd probably end up regretting ultimately, where it's like, you know, what am I ultimately enabling here? But I appreciate that you appreciate the content and Rich Rod and his unhingedness. I think Rich Rod left to go check that stream. I'm pretty sure you left to go check that stream, dude. That's funny. Yeah, Irfan, I saw that. Housemarque was showing off their new studio. It's looking real nice. It's looking very nice. Yeah, man. They're cooking over there. They're cooking. They're getting ready. You know what's crazy is Housemarque is, I think this is their 30th anniversary this year. They've been around for 30 years. Hold on one sec, guys. Rich left the chat. Saurus is going to be fire. You guys are not ready. Oh, I'm ready, dude. Gaming Survivor, honestly, bro. Honestly. No, you know what? See, the thing is, I think we already won. We already won. We have games, dude. Great games. What is there to prove? No Man's Sky added ship interiors and spacewalking. Damn. On the way to the Mafia Platinum. Then plan to play Chronos this week before moving on to Yote/Battlefield. Too many games. I know that's what we were just talking about, Fireball. There's literally too many games. I feel like some of these games were going to try to come out sooner, but they didn't because they were like, well, what about GTA? And we have, I feel like this person's name is Meow, but it's showing up as MMI 418. But anyway, yeah, we have Meow coming in, dropping 5 membership gifts. Coming in, saying we need to get the member train roll. Thank you so much for that. That brings us up to 11. Well, actually, see, it says here 12, though. So I'll just put what it says. We're actually at 12 on the day, guys. So thank you so much for the membership gifts. That's 5 more for you guys. Again, we are going to be doing a members lounge after today's stream. So if you are a member, make sure you tune into that. If you're not a member, consider becoming one, or maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe some people will continue this member train and you'll get lucky and get a gifted for the month of September. So there's 5 more. The reason being is because, I've seen this person before and that was their name. There's a few people in here where ever since YouTube switched the names over, I see their profile picture and I'm like, you had a different name before. It's really weird. Sadly, not everyone can become a member. YouTube is region limited. Yeah, it's really annoying that they do that, Irfan. I'm assuming you're not able to become a member. You were going to get the gold plates for Yote for the PS5 Pro. You're just going to get the controller. Yeah, the pre-orders, I believe, go live on September 4th. So, very soon. That, and you can't super chat or gift. Yeah, that's so annoying. Irfan, if there was a way I could just, like, let you and certain others in, you know, because it's just not fair. Hopefully that'll change eventually. When did you hit 100,000 subscribers? I've been here for like 7 years. It was a little while ago. We hit it. It's slow growing. We stream a lot. I think that is what the streaming definitely makes it take longer, but yeah, we did it a little while ago. Oh, there we go. Now it says meow. Mine used to say gravy biscuits. Yeah, I don't even know what it says now. Your name used to be Gravy Biscuits. Meow wants a member train. We should have gotten a Horizon controller. Yeah, I was a little bit surprised to see that Sony didn't do anything with Horizon. That's like the big shocker, right? Right? Like, we make all these jokes about how all Sony cares about is Horizon, and yet they didn't do any special edition anything for it. Even God of War Ragnarok got a limited edition controller. YouTube is weird. It flips from using names to tags. Yeah, I don't know what causes it. It's very strange. They did a Lego game instead. That's what we got. We got Lego Horizon, bro. Amazing. Game of the year. Irfan says, MBG, I can at least say to everyone, hit the like button. Yeah, guys, if you could, make sure you're hitting that like button. We did surpass 100 likes, so thank you for that. We're still in that slowdown period, you know? I mean, today's a holiday in the U.S. anyway, and I think a lot of people are still on vacation, just coming back from vacation. Gaming news has it seems like gaming news is going to pick up pretty quickly going into September, but it's already slowed. It's been slowed down quite a bit for the past like 2.5 weeks or so. But yeah, I think things, even just today, the news that we got today, I think was a little bit surprising. I certainly wasn't expecting a state of play announcement today. I know it's not the most exciting for a lot of people, but I had no idea. You know, I'm not sure who did. That whole LeBron collab was trash, and I'm a huge Laker fan. Oh yeah, I forgot they did that. Yeah, Sony does some different types of collabs. It seems like they've gotten. You could tell they're definitely trying to like be more mass market that way. It's the quiet before the storm, MBG. I just want a good announcement from Sony before 2025 ends. Well, I'm curious. Like I said, Sony last year went kind of crazy in September. They went kind of crazy. I don't know that I'm expecting them to go as crazy. You know, they were popping off with Astrobot, PS5 Pro, State of Play, TGS. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like Sony, September is usually a big month for Sony, just generally speaking. Sony usually always has, you know, things happening in September. And I think the fact that it's the first day of the month and we already have this announcement, I think it's a good sign that, yeah, things are going to happen. Yeah, true. Forza Horizon 6 is apparently going to be at Tokyo Game Show, and that's exciting. Whether that comes to PlayStation 5 or not, that's exciting. I'm hoping it's a day one PS5. I'll be there. But if it's not, I'll still be there. Forza Horizon 6 in Japan? Oh boy. We've been waiting for that one. Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. And it's crazy because like the first week of October, we're diving right into Ghost of Yotei. So it's good, dude. I think the next couple of months are gonna be really, really, really good. And it's already starting now. Like to me, it started with Metal Gear. Well, really it started with Death Stranding, but I mean, you know, it's really, I think, gonna pick up. It's also Mrs. MBG's birthday. It's my birthday. My birthday is going to be September 30th, and Mrs. MBG's is October 4th. So we got some birthdays coming up, maybe some birthday streams. What's in December again? December really is the Game Awards. That's like the big thing for December. Channel party. You're going to play Borderlands 4 to Platinum all the way up to Yotei's release. Garrett, your birthday is October 14th. Lady Gamer's birthday is September 28th on a Sunday. Very close. Oh, yeah, Where the Winds Meet. I forgot about that. That's going to be a console exclusive coming out in November. You turn 33 in October. I'll be 32 in September. Irfan's like, bro, mine's in April. Yo, April 18th, Soros release date. Maybe that's your birthday gift. We'll see. Battlefield 6, only like 2 weeks after Yote. That is crazy. Yeah. It's crazy, man. These games are... I feel like there's not a whole lot lined up for November, and I don't think there's like anything for December, dude. I don't think there's like anything coming out in December. December looks like it's going to be that month where you will be able to start tackling your backlog. At least that's what I'm hoping. Oh, is Kirby Air Riders coming out in December? Let me check. It's been a while since I checked this list. We go all the way down here. December, we have Octopath Traveler, Romancing Saga, A-Train All Aboard, Bounty Sisters, a game that I literally can't pronounce the name of. Yeah, well, wait. I don't see anything about Kirby Air Riders. Dude, there's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 games lined up for this December. That's across everything. 6 video games, dude. What? I feel like that can't be right. That can't, like, that's such a low amount. I've never seen that. And we have Terry V. Boss with a super chat saying, no games during my birthday month. Oh, no. I'm assuming December. Damn, MBG, I was 7 years old playing PS1 on Christmas of 1994, and you were not even 3 months old. It's true. It's true. Yeah, dude, there's like literally 6 games lined up for December. Kingdoms of the Dump? What is that? Guess that's coming out. Oh, yeah, Stalker 2 is coming out in November, by the way, for PS5. Forgot about that. Yeah, Kirby Air Riders, you're right, is November 20th. Deadpool VR, not on PSVR 2. SpongeBob game, Where the Winds Meet, Code Violet, Black Ops, PUBG, the current gen version, I guess, is releasing. So, I mean, even November has, some stuff coming up. Oh, yeah, another game for October, by the way, Terminator 2D, No Fate, The Outer Worlds 2, Arc Raiders. I mean, geez, dude. That's crazy. That's a lot. That's like an overwhelming amount. You remember buying and playing the first PS1? Changed my life, and I bought every single Sony system since. Yeah, I don't remember the exact year I got a PlayStation 1. Let me see. So, and I think it may have been like 1998 is when I got the PS1. 1997, 1998. And I'm like 4 or 5 years old. And I remember like sitting, like I had this desk set up with the CRT TV that my dad set up for me. And yeah, and I just kind of sucked, I was not very good at games. But I had the PS1 for quite some time. I remember playing games like I just saw that Activision Spider-Man game turned 25 years old. And I'm like, "Oh man." Well, that wasn't out until like 2000. That came out 2000, so that came later, but I do remember distinctly playing that on my PS1. And I think there's a thing. I had the PS1 for a couple years and I just wasn't. I think I remember playing games like Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. And I remember there was like this weird Batman game. And there was this fighting Jurassic Park game where you played as dinosaurs fighting each other. And there was a lot of weird stuff I remember playing. I remember trying to play the first Medal of Honor and absolutely sucking at it and struggling with it. I remember the original Resident Evil games. But yeah, man, that Spider-Man game, That Spider-Man game, I mean, that was like a standout title for me. Tekken 3, of course. I mean, there's so many classic PS1 games, and at that time I was too young to get into something like Metal Gear Solid. I didn't get into Metal Gear Solid until MGS2 with the PS2. Um, then you go back to MGS1, but yeah, man, good times with the PS1. And I think, yeah, the first PlayStation 1 I had was the Slim one, too. What year did that come out? Let me see. Well, hold on. My timeline might be completely messed up here then. It says the Slim model PS1 came out in 2000. Well, that can't be right because I know for a fact I was playing PS1 prior to 2000, right? Like I had to have. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I am misremembering. That would line up with Spider-Man 1. No, I'm not lying, Shems. What's actually freaking me out is I think there's a specific, how you equate years with like places you're living, where well, at least for me, because I moved around a lot as a kid. I was always living in different places and going to different schools and whatnot. What I'm remembering back to, I'm like, I don't think that was the year 2000. Like, I feel fairly certain that was not the year 2000. Maybe I'm wrong though. Like, maybe it was. Maybe this is MG's asking what I'm confused about. For some reason, I'm thinking in my head when I had my PlayStation 1 growing up, like in that, because you've seen the pictures. Well, Mrs. MBG's seen the pictures. Yeah, is this like the Mandela effect? What's going on? So, yeah, I would have been like 8 years old, I suppose. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go, like, look back and figure out what this timeline is, because the one thing I do remember is I had an N64 first. That I do remember, but I can't remember what year I got the N64. I just remember I got that first, and I was playing it, and I liked it, but I didn't play it that much. I was like, this is cool. I'll just play it sometimes. And then eventually I got a PS1, and I don't remember. I don't know. It's like a blur, to be honest. I wish I could remember my past better. The N64 was 1997. You know what? Maybe this is where I'm getting my wires crossed. Because I remember being younger, like for sure being younger when I got the N64. What are you talking about, 2000? I was saying that when I look back, my memories with the PS1, I don't recall having the regular PlayStation 1 console, like the thicker gray one that came out in 1994. I had the PlayStation 1 Slim, and the PlayStation 1 Slim released in the year 2000. But I could have swore that I was playing the PS1 prior to the year 2000. What I may be getting confused about is my cousin, I'm pretty sure, had a PS1, and he would come over a lot and bring his system with him. And I remember I would go over like friends' houses and they would have PS1s as well. So maybe I'm getting confused where it's like, yeah, for a couple years I was playing the PS1, but it's just freaking me out because I can't remember things. Like, I don't know how you guys are with your memory, but every time I like look back at that time in my life, like I can't remember things and it freaks me out. And I'm like, why? Maybe I don't know. Maybe I need to get hypnotized or something. We have a Terry V. Boss with another super chat. Thank you for that, buddy. He says, I will just still most likely play these games from December 2025 up to May 2026. Give myself time in between those months to play some of these later, save money. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing that, dude. I think that's probably what I'm going to have to do with some of these games. What's going to freak me out is if I go into 2026 and there's still like 3 or 4 games that I want to play and haven't. That's going to freak me out because there's going to be a lot of games coming out in January, February, March. But yeah, you're talking about May 2026 leading up to GTA 6, excuse me. I'll talk to my mother about it. She would know. She'll know. She'll know for sure. Or she should know for sure. I don't know. Her memory can be pretty bad too sometimes. Somebody's got to know, dude. Like it's freaking me out. You know what's crazy? I can't remember when I got my PS1. I remember distinctly opening up an N64 on Christmas morning. I don't know if it was 1997, 1998, somewhere around there. But I remember because my parents were like, no, this is a big gift. I don't remember when I got the PS1 though. Like how you would think I'd be able to, like that came after the N64. I should be able to remember that, and I can't. I have like these mental like blind spots or these blind spots in my memory. The N64, man. Even as a kid, I remember being like, what's up with this controller, bro? How many pull-ups can I do without taking a break? I'm not sure. I haven't tested that out in a long time. I think I could certainly do more than 10. I need PS therapy, man. I need to remember. The PS6 will have AI girlfriends in game, bro. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, lady gamer. Very sorry to hear that. Well, we'll be here for you. We have a good community here. We have good people. We'll be here. You're hyped for the new Halloween game? You like the ASIM games like Dead by Daylight, Friday the 13th, so a Halloween one will be super sick. Chris, I actually haven't looked into this Halloween game. Is it an asymmetrical multiplayer game? Is that what the Halloween game is? Because I saw people were hyped for the announcement, but I didn't catch wind of it is. Oh. Huh. Yeah, I know we got like that Texas Chainsaw game too. That came out a couple years back. I didn't realize for some reason I thought it was a single player game. Yeah, I don't know with these asymmetrical horror based games. I don't know how I feel about them just because I feel like Dead by Daylight exists, you know what I mean? Like Dead by Daylight has Michael Myers in it. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Guys, I will let you know it is the 2 hour and 37-minute mark. We're going to be doing this stream until the 3 hour mark. So we have about 22, 23 minutes left. After that, we're going to head over to the members lounge. So I just want to, again, continue to encourage people before we hit that 3 hour mark. If you want to support the channel, make sure you hit that like button. We're about to hit 125 likes. Let's keep pushing. Let's see, get the likes as high as we can before we wrap up. But if you want to drop any membership gifts, we still have time to hit the goal of 25. Please consider doing so if it's within your means. And yeah. Death Stranding 2 Platinum today. You know, the thing is, I was considering it, but people have been asking for a proper members lounge. We've done a lot of gameplay streams, and I've been lacking with the members lounges. And I promised my audience that we would be doing a members lounge this week, at least one, maybe more than one. But Smurf, I need about maybe 2 more hours of gameplay. I need to do the last mission for the adventure, just one more, and then that's it. And then I have the trophy for all of the facilities 5-starred. And then I just need to complete 2 or 3, I think, elimination missions. And then that's it. I'll have the platinum. It's been a long time coming, you know? It really has. .0. That's... Come on, man. Like, come on, bro. What are you doing? Yeah, I don't know. I thought about streaming the platinum. I'm not sure. Like today for sure I'm going to do a members lounge. Maybe today I could not play it and like play Metal Gear or something, and then maybe tomorrow or Wednesday we could do, we could do that platinum stream. Cuz like then if I were to stream it one more time, I would be able to get the platinum. You don't play games for the trophies. You'll play as much as you want and finish it. If it's really good, you'll just do the missions you want. I mean, I wish I could play like that. I've talked about this before. I have that itch for trophies. I wish I could play like that. But yeah, I can't. I need like I listen, I don't get the trophies. I don't get the platinums for every game I play. You guys know that. But it's definitely a major part for me. Like I was thinking about doing that for Metal Gear. I was like, maybe I won't get the platinum for Metal Gear. But then like an hour goes by, I'm like, really, bro? Like you're not gonna get the platinum for Metal Gear? Like why are you even saying that to yourself? Why do you even entertain that thought? You know? You only trophy hunt games that are very dear to you personally. Yeah, there are definitely some games where I'm like, I'm not getting this platinum. But I do miss the simpler times before the meta game of trophies popped up, Smurf, you have a love-hate relationship with trophy hunting. Yeah, I totally get what you mean. Same. Neo, you only platinum a game if you really like it. And if it doesn't require some absurd challenge. I mean, earlier this year I platinumed, I think it was in January, I platinumed Silent Hill 2 Remake. And let me tell you, that was an annoying one. But I had to do it because I'm like, I love this game. And it's my game of the year for 2024. And I'm so close to the platinum. But one of the things I had to do was literally watch an entire playthrough to get all the trophies or all the collectibles. And I had to follow it beat by beat. Like I had to watch 5 minutes, pause it, play 5 minutes, go back and forth because you had to get every single collectible in one run. And I hated it. I despised it. But I'm like, dude, you're not going to feel okay if you don't platinum this game because you're this close and it's your game of the year and you got to just do it. That's how my mind works, where I'm like, so I'll just do it. It didn't ruin the game for me, but it is one of these things where it's like, I feel like it gives me like a double review of a game. Like I can review it twice. I'm talking about Silent Hill 2 Remake, where if you want to know, here's the review for just beating the game. Here's the platinum review. And the platinum review for Silent Hill 2, not great. I'm going to say more on the negative side. Mainly because of that collectibles trophy. And, there's a trophy for like getting 6 different endings, and you can mess around with your save data to get that pretty easily. But the freaking collectibles in one run is just like, this sucks. This just sucks. Like, it's not adding anything to the game, but had to get it done, Had to do it. Did I use PS5 trophies? His guide was really good. I think I was using Power Picks. I think that's what I was using. They're really good. The MMA hole says, I can't stop playing DayZ. That's funny. That was just given out for free on PlayStation Plus, wasn't it? Right? I thought I read something like the servers were crashing or something because there were so many people trying to play it. I could not get into DayZ, man. I talked about that game and how I tried and I'm like, I don't get it. I'm sure there's something here, but it's not clicking for me. It's not clicking for me. It's like crack. Oh my God. That's kind of a good feeling though, right? Like when you stumble upon a game that you get like, it really scratches that itch that you didn't even know you had. Mrs. MBG says, yeah, he takes trophies serious. He got the Blue E Platinum. I did. I got that Blue E Platinum with my son. Did I start a Discord yet? Not yet, Chase. I don't know. I don't know when I'm starting a Discord. I don't even know if I am. I might at some point, but not quite yet. Not quite yet. Yeah, the Lego games I know are pretty infamous with collectibles, but it kind of makes sense, you know? You can kind of see why a Lego game would have so many collectibles. Garrett says, keep the pressure on and he'll do it eventually. Thanks, Garrett. It doesn't let you type in the word kill, Smurf? That has to be a YouTube thing then. Because I'm fairly certain I don't have that word blocked. I think I would know if I had that word blocked. That doesn't make... Yeah, that's weird. That's so stupid, though. Like, that's a crazy word for YouTube to block. I'm trying to resist the trophy hunt, but I feel the peer pressure from MBG. You think I should make it? Chase, I already know what the answer to that poll is going to be, though. I have to do it on my time. I'm sorry. Maybe we will. Maybe we will. If I do it, though, I'm not going to tell you. And, like, it'll just be something I do, and then I'll announce it. And be like, here it is. And that'll be it. So I will tell you that. If I decide to do it, I'm not going to say I'm going to do it and then do it. It's just going to happen. But Rich Rod, I am not world premiering any song unless we hit our membership goal today, bro. But don't worry. If we don't hit it today, we'll probably hit it sometime soon. It is that serious, Chase. It is that serious. Yeah, I know. That's a big thing that people want. They want to be able to interact and engage more. All right. I'll see if I can get on it. Wait, I just went back against what I said. I'm not announcing anything. All I'm saying is I hear you, Chase. I hear you. We do have a great community here. We have a lot of really good people. And I know that some people have been they've been wanting to, you know, they've been wanting to interact outside of the chat here. And there is the community tab, but the community tab is definitely not the same as Discord. So I hear you, Chase. I hear you. 0 Point, you're saying some people are really power hungry in this chat. It's not that. Like, 0 Point, you're being incredibly insensitive and frankly rude. Like, I'm not trying to call you out or anything, man, but come on. Gaming Survivor. Don't you talk about that. You hear me? Don't you talk about that, Gaming Survivor. We already went over this. We already went over this. I'm not talking about it again. You don't know me? You don't know me, bro. MBG, you should most definitely have a call-in super chat line. A call-in super chat line? Like people have to pay to call in? That would be a good one, Mrs. MBG. Yeah. Like talk radio. Yeah, people, I don't know, man. This would be. David Jaffe has that. How does that work out for him? It will be great. I mean, let's be honest, 0 Point and everybody else asking for this. Let's be honest. I would like it. You may as well just call it the troll line. Let's be honest. I don't know if Tarnished is here right now, but Tarnished was pointing out if you go check the comment section of yesterday's stream, Bot City, bro. Not Xbot. I'm not saying like Xbot. I'm saying Bot City. Let's be real. We all know if I were to open up some kind of call-in line, how that's going to go. We all know that that'll last approximately 20 minutes or less, and then it'll never happen again. Now, somebody might say, well, maybe that 10 to 20 minutes would be worth it. You know, I will say this. Last year, we did some Helldivers 2 streams where I played with a couple of members, and people were chatting. And everybody was pretty chill and tame. I think it went pretty well. So maybe, I don't know, we'll see. You got Battlefield coming up. People have been talking about playing, maybe like doing some members only like Battlefield matches or something, community matches. I'll look into it. Maybe that could be the beginning. Would make it easier to platinum multiplayer games? Oh, yeah, it would. I'm going to use you guys to fuel my platinum addiction. Yeah. Shem says, mix it up, MBG. Mix it up. All right, well, we'll see. I'll keep some of these things in mind as we go forward into September and beyond. For today, we'll focus on the Members Lounge. So we got 8 minutes, guys. Last call. Something members, something non-members. I've been trying to mix that up with my gameplay streams, keeping some for non-members, some for members. But last call, guys, we have 8 minutes, and then we're going to move over to the Members Lounge. So if you guys want to get to that goal, now would be the time to do it. We're at 12. We can do it. It is a possibility. I believe in this community. And as I say that, Shems comes in. Shems is like, here you go, MBG. It's the least I could do for you, bro. Here's a single member gift in the hopes that we will get a train started.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
He says, here we go, 13. Lucky number 13. And for added bonus, if we do hit the 25 before the 3-hour mark, if we do hit the 25, I will give Boss the rest of his treats. I only gave him half. So, Shems, let me add that. Yeah, and, keep in mind, you can always drop a single member gift if it's within your means. I know sometimes people think like maybe a single member gift isn't worth it or something, but trust me, it definitely helps. So don't feel, don't feel intimidated or anything. MBG call-in chat for members. Dude, that sounds absolutely horrifying to me. Like, listen, man, Rich Rod technically, not just Rich Rod, but anybody who drops a direct donation technically has a voice. And I can't even, like, I'm at a loss of words with that. And Garrett comes in. And says, you know what, man? I'm feeling it. Let's drop a single gift. Let's drop another single. Garrett's keeping the single train going and brings us up to 14. Garrett. It's basically me yesterday. Thank you so much for that. W's in the chat for Shems and Garrett. Shem says he's saving up for my birthday. Oh, well, thank you, Shems. That's very kind of you, dude. Shems remembers my birthday. He knows it's my birthday month. So we're at 14 now, guys. We are 11 away. I know, that scream never gets old, dude. Dude, Summit in the chat says, I am somehow now enjoying the Metal Gear remake. Somehow, I'm enjoying this remake. That's such a funny way to word that. You know what? Yeah, for added effect, listen, if we hit the 25 mark, I'll play Rich Rod's song. Although, hold on, though. Hold on. Whoa. Hold on. Rich, what's the song about? You got to tell me what the song's about. I got to be a little bit more careful here on the channel, man. Got to be careful. He did one single for the song. And Lost Isley comes in. We have another single member gift coming from Lost Isley, bringing us up to 15. So you guys are now in position. You are in position to be able to drop a 10 bomb. Get it in one shot. 2 5 bombs. Get it in 2 shots. Or you could keep the single train going. 15 is a good number. We could stay at 15, but then we wouldn't hit the goal. But Lost Isley, thank you so much for that.
Thank
I appreciate
you.
the singles,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
I do. It's a rap song? Oh, God. See, I was worried about that, Rich. Rich, I knew. This is why. I knew. It's like if you came in yesterday and was like, MBG, I got this song for you, bro. I would have just let it rip. I would have. But now I'm all calm and feeling good. Maybe in the members lounge. You're saying it's matching yesterday's heat. It's going to be bad. I need to know how bad, though. Like, I need you to tell me in the members lounge. Wait till we get to the members lounge. The worst thing that's stated in this song. What's the worst word? Because there are some words that are not allowed to be said on this, on a YouTube channel. And you can say them, but you'll get demonetized. If it wasn't rap, I would consider helping you out, Rich Rod. Rich is like, wait, no. Hold on, I can make it rock. I can make it metal. It's on the tweet about Death Stranding. Thank you, Rich. Well, all right. Maybe I can't promise that I'll play it on this stream, even if we hit the goal, but I could at least try to play in the members lounge. Guys, we have 2 minutes. The pressure's on. Okay? 2 minutes for you to hit the like button, to drop those memberships. 2 minutes to hit the goal. Ken Boss get his treats, the rest of his treats. Are we going to make it happen? It's the final countdown. Still need that Metal Diss album, Rich. MBG's going to have to finally put that do-rag on for the song. Shems is like, poor boss. Sorry, bro. Hey, we got to 15. I still gave him a couple treats. Butcher says, also keep hitting that like button. Yeah, we're at 127 likes. Maybe we can get that to 135? 140? Can we? I want to know if we can get to 140 likes. That would require 12 more likes. So we need 12 people in the stream right now who haven't hit the like button to hit the like button. I think we can do that. 12? I think we can do that. Dude, I know. That's what he does. He hangs off his cat tower. Now I have that terrible synthetic riff stuck in my head. Damn. Gravy Biscuits. Is that what your name was? You said Gravy Biscuits? He's never fallen off it yet. No, he hasn't fallen off the cat tower yet. So we hit 133 likes. So some of you guys are listening. 7 more. All right, how about this? Since we're about to hit the 3-hour mark. How about this? If we hit 150 likes, I'll give Boss the rest of his treats. And then we'll head over to the members lounge. I still want you to drop 10 membership gifts, though. I still want that. But if we can hit 150 likes, I'll give Boss the rest of his treats. He's been waiting. Boss, I'm sorry. If they can't pull through for you here, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're just gonna have to be okay. But yeah, we are gonna wrap up here any minute, and then we're gonna head over to the members lounge. Some of you are dense. We might. We just shot up to about 140 likes. So 10 more, we hit 150, Boss will get his treats. If that's the most I can get out of this, I'll take it. You're saying Boss will get them either way. It just depends on if he gets them early or late. He knows I'm talking about him. Look at him. Dude, how are you not falling over the edge? I'm trying, Boss. I'm trying. We got 140. We need 10 more. I'm extending it by a minute or two. I'm extending it. Oh my God, Garrett. Okay. Thank you for preparing me, Garrett. Thank you. Oh man. Garrett, did you listen to it? It's great. It sounds like DMX. All right, Garrett, I'm trusting you. Does it sound like it could get me in trouble? Does it sound like it could get me demonetized? Be honest with me. Absolutely. Unless you're saying absolutely, you're going to let me know. Hold on now. Bro straight up said absolutely. Well, no, Rich Rod, you have to understand a members lounge just because No, you will get demonetized. No, well, you know what? I'm clearly going to have to listen to it myself ahead of time because it's not even just like it's one thing to get demonetized. Sometimes like I can't risk having something get marked as like it'll make it so that they'll put like an 18 or older plus, like people will have to confirm. That's another problem. I'll have to listen to it. I'll listen to it in between the members lounge or from the transition from the stream to the members lounge. I do not trust Rich. It's on the Death Stranding tweet. All right, guys. Well, Boss, I'm sorry I tried, bro. I told him if we could get to 150 likes, I would give you the rest of your treats. So you're just gonna have to be okay. You'll be okay. All right. Boss is so hurt. Look at his face. Well, don't feel too bad. He did get some treats earlier. Somebody came in. Who was it? It was Mikey Mike came in and dropped a $50 donation and said, "This is for Boss." So I gave him a couple of treats. He didn't go without anything today. Although we are at 144 likes though. That's the thing. Like I feel like I feel like as soon as I end the stream, we're gonna get to like 150. It's making me feel like I should probably go for maybe another few minutes. I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, Rich, really quick before we go here, just drop your Twitter handle. Drop your Twitter handle in the chat. Because, yeah, even though you posted under my tweets, a lot of times it's not gonna show up. People just have to check your replies. All right. Well, guys, this is going to be where we wrap up the stream. Again, we're going to be heading over to the members lounge. And before I do that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. And also want to give a shout out to anybody who can't catch it live, but, watches it later. I really appreciate your support, really appreciate your viewership. And I want to make sure to give a big thank you to anybody who dropped direct support through membership gifts, super chats, direct donations. Like I said, and we'll continue to say as long as it's true, we are completely fan funded. I don't do sponsorships. You guys make it possible for me to do this. You make it possible for me to make the videos, do the streams, do the members content, and everything else. So thank you so much for that. We weren't able to hit the goal, but we still got 15 members, which is certainly respectable and certainly good. So thank you for that. And we are just 4 likes away from 150. Thank you guys for that. I also want to make sure to give a special shout out to Devil Shooter, who does the timestamps for the streams. He does a great job. So if you guys see him in the comments with those timestamps, make sure you take some time to give him some thanks and show him some love. I know he appreciates it. And yeah, that is pretty much going to do it for today's stream. We should be back here tomorrow with another stream. We should have just more content coming tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to it. So, all right, guys, to all my members, I'll see you in the lounge, in the Totokism lounge, in just a couple of minutes. To everybody else who's either going to pass on the members lounge or not be able to tune in, I'll see you back here tomorrow for the next stream. So just make sure you hit that like button, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, everyone.